All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Shots N Shanks. I'm Kyle. With me, as always, my buddy
Eric.
Eric. Yep, and he brought a friend along. So, who's your friend here, dude?
Yeah, Elliott Paylor.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, pleasure, man. Thanks for making the time, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I know that you guys met each other through golf, and so we definitely will be talking about that. So there'll be plenty of discussion of both Shots and Shanks. But before that, we'll start our show off the right way with our shot, our signature shot.
Mine is
Elliot. You know, you're our guest. What are you going to be sipping on, and what makes yours special, if it is for any reason?
Yeah. So Remy Martin is the first bottle that I received by one of my clients in my studio when I opened up a couple years ago. So it's been in here kind of as the emergency reserve and stash. So today, no better time than for Shanks to.
Nice. So that was kind of like your christening bottle almost.
Nice. It was very much so.
Sweet.
From one of my OG clients that followed me from a shop that I used to work at in Walnut Creek, from Kepler's. So he comes out here from the Bay Area and stuff and brought that bottle with him the first time.
Awesome. Hey, that's great to have loyalty, man. I mean, if nothing else, it speaks to your character, and we're just about to start getting to know you.
Oh, man, don't tease me.
All right, well, I guess we'll go over mine. So I'm having a strange blend. So I didn't show it off last time, but I had mentioned that I got this like make your own whiskey kit.
Oh yeah, that's a shit.
Yeah, so it's cool. They give you like 2 bottles, a bunch of different things. Like you get all these different flavoring devices, yeah, like, you know, bark or whatever. It's like dark chocolate, all sorts of different things in here. So this stuff has got some Vanilla Dream and American Sweetheart for the like smoked bark flavoring or whatever, and then Bird's Eye Chili and orange peel. So it's like citrus spicy. But I'll tell you, that Bird's Eye Chili pretty much takes the cake, and it just proceeds to speed bag you at the back of your throat. It's just like spicy.
Yeah, dude. We were just talking about this the other day too, because my wife got me the hot one challenge thing for Christmas, and it ended up breaking like during shipment. So when we opened the box, it was the hot ones. It was the spiciest one. It was blasted all over the box, and we both tried it. And while it wasn't like super painful, it lingered for like fucking hour.
Oh.
So that's the kind of stuff though that's going to be real bad if you have like more than one wing, because that's going to be that compounded heat. That's like 3 hours later, you're just like.
Yeah, because I had like just a full pinky swab of it.
And that gave you the forehead sweat, the old brow sweat.
I just can't imagine eating like 5 wings of that. It'd be awful.
And they do the extra dab too.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The last dab.
What are you sipping on, buddy?
Mine is fucking torment, probably. But so this is what I have in the house basically right now. Some little Bombay gin.
A little karmic backlash.
It's a little bit of karma because one of the last friends that we called and took a shot with, it was the only thing he had in the house, so he poured a shot of gin, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do a shot of gin with you." And I ended up pouring Jack and taking a shot of Jack while he took a shot of gin. But now it's firing back at me.
No excuses. All right, boys. Cheers. Oh, the red Solo cup. Nice. Keep it classy. I should have shown up too. This is a Bucky's shot glass. The Mecca is here.
Ooh, my wife just brought me back a Bucky's beanie. She was in Texas recently. Took 2 of our girls out there to visit family and brought me back a Bucky's beanie.
Oh, it's so spicy. Oh. Sorry, I'm listening. Oh.
Good.
Yours might have been worse than mine, actually.
Well, homemade, you never know. He probably added too much of the chili.
Well, dude, this stuff's been sitting since the 26th of March. It's just hot alcohol.
Just basting.
It's just fire liquor. It's fire water. This is firewater. This is what they meant when they said firewater.
Oh, if you had to compare that to like a pepper heat, like what would it be? I mean, it looks like habanero level.
No, you know what it's like? You know what it's like? It's like when you it's like when you go and get when you're all excited to get yourself like a jalapeno popper and like somebody didn't clean it out properly and you bite in and you just got like 3-4 seeds and it's just like that crazy unexpected heat shock that you didn't anticipate because it shouldn't be like that. It's like that, but like right in the back of your throat.
Oof. The speed bag again.
Yeah, seriously. I got Ryan Garcia of Heat just punching my fucking esophagus right now.
With a bristle, like with a bristle wire brush.
Because we needed more.
Because he's just needing an open wound on top of it all. God.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm glad that went down the right way. I can only imagine.
Oof.
Now we're awake.
Seriously, yeah. Hold on. Yep. Definitely like a half inch of growth on the chest hair there. Fuck. So, okay, now
Dude,
that we've
that
all
wilted your mustache.
I know, it's like the whole thing's like
mustache a little
it's
bit.
just fucking murdered it. Sipping poison. Okay, well now that I think I'm a little recalibrated, let's let's get into this. So how did you guys meet each other? Eric, I know you've been into golf longer than me. I mean, maybe we'll touch on that, like your start and everything, and then I think it was kind of like wanting to take the next step with your game that got you to meet Elliott here, right?
Yeah, he is at a really good level of golf, and I was just trying to get a little bit closer to that level of golf, basically. But when I got started a few years after joining. Like I had played baseball all the way, through high school and whatnot, and at a pretty decent level. But I got into it when I was in Aviano. We basically had it approved that we could do like some of our PT days could be just walking because you can burn, carrying your bag and walking you can burn like almost 2,000 calories.
It's like a mini ruck march, got it.
Yeah, so like every and I think we only did it like 3 times, but so we had that approved to do, and then I wasn't like seriously into it, and then I moved to Arkansas, and I lived right on the fairway of one of the holes. For it was called Southern Oaks. It used to be called Foxwood Golf Club or something like that. But yeah, at one point, got into it. Just started. I was going out there like 4 days a week or something, just trying to get a lot better. And then that was in 2016. So that's like kind of when I seriously got into it. So since 2016, I moved out here to Northern California like a year ago. And then I joined a country club called Greenwood, and then was looking for somewhere to try and improve the game a little bit. And that's when I met Elliott. Did a couple lessons with him. He's got a super cool studio with a simulator and stuff in it. Underneath a library, like of all places to be hitting golf balls. But yeah, it's a pretty cool
little hidden gem.
Is that where you are right now?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm in my studio.
Hiding in your little golf cove?
Yep, so there's the little simulator there set up.
Oh, nice.
There, yep. So just chilling in my little bat cave.
Sweet. So you can teach people lessons and then they go upstairs and study the golf books so they don't lose it. I was telling Eric, it's got to be funny seeing people walk in with their bags. They're like, what's this guy doing? You got to grab a golf repair book and start fixing his clubs in the library?
It's not the best downtown here. There's people.
Dude, let me tell you, like, let me tell you, like, walking to the studio, it feels weird because like you're parking like on like literally like the downtown
office, like
yeah, you're parking like in front of a bunch of restaurants in what feels like downtown, and then you're just like grabbing your bag and carrying it down the sidewalk.
That's funny.
Classy. Gotta keep
and
it
all the while trying to dodge the human shits.
Yeah, and then it's like like as soon as you get down there, it's like an oasis.
just disappear.
Oh god,
That's
yeah,
super
it
cool.
just reminds me of the first time visiting you. Get out of a cab and like within the first 5 minutes, just watch a dozen people narrowly avoid stepping in human shit, and then some hotel lobby worker coming out and picking it up like it's the most nonchalant everyday task she's ever fucking done. Like, oh god, they shit in front of our place again. Thanks.
Okay, that was insane, Fran, and that is that's quite common.
A true story. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's an app you can get on your phone to track where people shit.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yeah. There's a literal app you can download, and people will like mark where there's shit on the sidewalk.
That's ridiculous. Wow.
I'm surprised.
All
I'm
of-
surprised you haven't heard about it.
It's like until you zoom in, all of San Fran is just a turn. Then you see that it's like spaced out maybe a half block or so.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never downloaded it, but I'm curious if it's just like the poo emoji
Just
just
smiling
on
at
a
you.
map.
Just little little sticks all over the place.
They put dots in accordance to the size. This guy left a trail.
And you get to the one that's just liquid. You know, like the liquid on it.
This is running. Okay, well, now that we've talked about that shit, so you got you met each other for lessons and whatnot. So Elliot, you give lessons. So what was your start? I mean, obviously you don't just overnight start giving lessons. You got to be good enough to do it. So
Yeah, so I found golf when I was like 12 years old. And
nice.
so I'm 39 now. So 27 years of literally like my neighbor across the street came over one day, Kenny Buchanan, he was my best friend growing up. He was like, "Hey, do you want to go to a driving range?" And I looked at him, I was like, "We gonna drive cars?" Because I had no clue. I'd never played golf. Never touched a club until that point. And he was like, "No, fool, go to a driving range and hit golf balls." And it caught me so far out of left field, and I was like, yeah, let's do it." And so went out to Green Tree in Vacaville, man, and Green Tree had this big giant golf ball in the middle of the driving range. And anytime you would hit it with the ball, it'd make like the big old doom sound. So about, I don't know, halfway through a basket, I had a 7-iron, cracked one, hit that golf ball, and that was it, man. My birthday was 2 weeks later. Took all my birthday money, bought my first set of clubs, and my mom was dropping me off at a golf course from that point, like 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, like 6 days a week, like a drug.
Jeez.
I wasn't in school. I was on a golf course, literally. It was just, and then high school shortly after that, played 4 years in high school, and coming out of high school, didn't really have golf. Really wasn't a popular sport yet. Tiger had just came onto the scene, a couple years prior to myself graduating. And so it just, in our area, we were looked at more football and basketball or baseball, and golf just wasn't really cool yet. And so I decided to just turn pro out of high school and just start chasing. First tour that I actually played on was the Hooters tour, ironically.
Nice.
Yeah, flew out to the Carolinas, qualified for that tour, played down in Palm Springs that summer in their summer series. And then really from there, just was trying to kind of just chase, just played everything that I could. Pepsi tour, Gateway tour, any mini tour that I could kind of play in. And then 2007 was my first season up in Canada for PGA Tour Canada, the Canadian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then outside of that, man, I chased up until 2019 was my last season up in Canada. I had a pretty good year there. We actually got pregnant with our first kid.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, in 2019, the next year we were planning to play again, but then COVID happened, so the whole season got shut down.
Yeah.
So, and then that summer we had our first daughter, and now I have 3 girls.
Oh, wow.
2 and 5 months, and now they're just, they're my world, right? So golf's kind of, for the first time ever, golf took playing wise, took a back seat with effortlessly. I was just able to kind of stop playing altogether just because now my girls were everything.
Yeah.
And so I was working at Kempers at the time in a studio out in Walnut Creek. They're one of the top 100 fitters in the country. and I started to do fittings for them. They taught me kind of their craft and how to do the fitting side of things. And that kind of led to, with COVID happening, lessons started erupting in golf, right?
Mm.
It's one of the only things you could do during COVID. So, like, outside of riding bikes and being outside in parks and stuff, golf was the outdoor sport that you could do. So, I was just, from my local people in Vacaville that I grew up with, just asking if I was teaching. And I wasn't at the time. But man, only so many weeks could go by without me finally saying yes to realize I'm just turning down money at that time.
Right.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll start teaching before work and after work. And then shortly after that, this is 2022 now, I get offered to be able to open up my own spot here in town from a family that I grew up with. And so that's how I ended up in this little kind of random niche spot, this little oasis that you can kind of disappear into. It was ironic. Chick-fil-A was getting to rent the studio out for storage.
Huh.
And use it for a storage space. And my buddy's like, dude, please, I'd much rather have a golf simulator spot in here than Chick-fil-A's boxes and storage area.
You just got a bunch of Chick-fil-A sauce instead.
So my wife and I were just like, hey, let's see what happens. Because I'm born and raised here in Vacaville. I got 5 older siblings. We all went through Markham, Jepson. So my family's been here forever and a day. So we said, let's see what happens and see if just word of mouth essentially can kind of get this thing going. So with my experience of, I played in my first PGA Tour event in 2016. When I qualified for the Barracuda in Reno, and that was my first taste of the PGA Tour. And that, I mean, being able to kind of prove my lifelong dream that I could at least get there, that's all I really needed. Just to kind of confirm that I am good enough to play at that level in my own mind and my own belief system. And that's kind of what kind of led into teaching was, now I get to share kind of my craft. And that's kind of like the cool part with Eric is it's so much more than just swinging a golf club if you want to get really good at this game. And that's when you can start diving down some really deep rabbit holes of life and the way that you think and operate, let alone how you swing a golf club. And that's why I feel like I've got a little different approach to teaching the game, more as like a whole way of playing rather than just swinging a golf club. And it's been, I never saw myself as teaching. I tried teaching at golf courses that I worked at in the past, and it never really panned out. It just really wasn't my niche. And a lot of it was, here I am trying to teach guys that have been playing golf longer than I've been alive. And we already know how the older we get, the more stubborn we are, the more if we don't want to change our ways.
It's even just the body doesn't let you sometimes, like it's just so trained to do one thing.
and I'd get the experience of somebody not really wanting to buy in what I say or what I'm trying to explain to them. And that's where technology is the game changer though, right? Like technology now is that's your, unarguable. That's your pure analytics. You can't,
the numbers don't lie.
Can't argue that. And I think when I was self-taught, I really didn't start taking lessons till I was playing professionally for like a year or 2. So for myself, it's always been trying to get things to be dirt. Like how simple can I make it? How fun can I make it? But how simple can this become? And that's kind of how I try and approach anybody trying to learn this game is like, we need to figure out your simple. How do you operate? How do you function? What makes you tick? And then from there, start to create kind of structure around that with mechanics and with fundamentals. But at the end of the day, that's the one thing that I love about golf is there's no right or wrong way to do it. And the best player in the world right now proves that. I mean, Scotty Scheffler's feet are all over the place. The swing does not have some perfect circle to it. It's not this Tiger Woods image of if you don't swing it the way Tiger swings it, you're never going to be as good as Tiger. That's finally kind of broken, right? But now what you start to realize is how, Tiger's mind and his mentality is really what separated him. And Scotty Scheffler is the closest thing that I've seen in the game to trying to mimic that, where nothing bothers that guy. He's just playing. It just seems like he's playing Jane, no matter what happens, right? He just never reacts. And we're on the first tee box of any golf course, and if we hit a bad shot, the world's over. It's ended. Hit one single shot good or bad on the driving range 10 minutes ago, and all of a sudden I'm on the first tee box, and now I hit one that I've never seen. It's like that just this game is the most torturous
Isn't it insane
game
how that works?
It does. No one's immune to it.
Yeah. I had the worst range session of my life at Hidden Brook. This was probably like a month ago. I thought I was like, there's no way I'm going to get through this round. Like I couldn't hit a single shot good. And then I think I shot like a 76. It was just insane.
It's playing. That's the difference between swinging a golf club and playing golf. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you guys get a driving range lie on the golf course.
No, and well, I tell my friends this all the time. Like I deal with various aches and pains, like shoulder issues, things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could probably get a lot better at golf because I mean, I've been told I have decent fundamentals, so I think I could get a lot better if I went out and practiced more. But I don't want to go wear my body out and get hurt hitting shit at the range. I'd rather go do that, having a few beers and fun with my friends, playing an actual round.
Respectable though. But that's the kind of cool part though, right? Like golf still offers you all the enjoyment without trying to improve too. You can take this.
I mean, I'm still trying to improve. It's just my play is my practice, you know.
But there's a big difference, and I'll say this: like, it does take repetitions to improve in this game, in my opinion.
And it's perishable. It is very
if you
perishable.
only play, you will have improvement, but the improvement comes like this. You have some peaks and valleys, and most of the time it's a valley. The peaks come. Man, I say this to clients all the time now. I don't know that I could ever find another sport where you can go 1 for 100 and you are ecstatic and elated to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, like you get that one chip in, even though it's on your 8th shot, and you're like, I'm coming back tomorrow.
You can cuss out everybody and their mama under the sun for 17 holes. And the second that you hit one good shot, that's all it takes to make you feel like, oh, I can't wait to play tomorrow. Right?
No, yeah, absolutely.
I can actually
happened to me yesterday.
I can actually attest to that a little bit with evidence too. So when I had got to Arkansas, I joined a men's baseball league, and this is 9 years since I had ever stepped up to the plate back in school. And I faced I won't say his name, but I faced a former MLB pitcher and went 2 for 2 on 2 different games on him. It's wild how perishable golf is versus really anything, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, golf is one of those weird ones too, where like it's so odd because you can have an off day, but then you can also have like a good day and just have like a couple off holes, and even then you're like, all right, dude, like what's happening right now? Is today not my day, or why am I jacking up these holes? Like, I can't remember who said it, but someone definitely said it is golf is the hardest 8-inch game or something like that, and they just meant like all up in here between your ears, you know.
Sum that up to it sounds a lot like life.
Yeah. Well, was it Palmer or someone or Hogan maybe that had said that golf's a lot like life? Like you'll get good lies from bad shots and or bad lies from good shots, and either way you got to play it where it is. Like
it's fact, isn't it? Like the biggest life lesson that's golf, besides my kids, but golf has given me is like learning how to control what I can and cannot control. That is like,
but once the ball's gone, it's out of your hands.
That's it, man. I was just out with a student not too long ago, and we're playing Paradise Valley, and I set hole 16's par 5. I rip a drive. It's going right down the middle. I just don't think anything of it. But as I'm walking back to the cart, I look to watch my ball land, and it lands and hits the ground and goes dead left, like immediately left.
Whoa, like hit a rock or something?
Kid that I'm playing with, and I'm like, did you see that? And he goes, no, you hit it. Why would I look? Oh, what, you hit another good? Like, it was that little attitude, right? Like, no, okay, wait till you see where my ball ends up, dude. So we drive down there. My ball literally hit the 250-yard plate on the left side of it, shot it across the cart path, and now I was about 3-4 feet behind a tree.
That's tree trouble left on that hole.
Like, what are you going to do? What? And don't get me wrong. Hey, I spent years and years of being that dude of like, F this tree, F this sprinkler head, screw like completely ruining my game. Completely, because you can't recover from that. Yeah. And that's just like, kids finally got me to the point of like, man, if I let that affect me, then that's going to ruin my game. And that's where golf, once you start getting the physical down and once you start getting kind of understanding how to move, because that's really what you're training is how to move. Right. And it's about how you program it. How do you approach the shot that you're playing, not how do you try and swing a golf club? And that's something that took a long time for me to really grasp that concept. And it's really cool now when I get to work with some of these players that are still chasing it and like higher skilled players, we get into conversations nothing to do with the golf swing, and that's really that's the separator, man. And that's the cool part is that even for you, Kyle, like where you're at, your chase to improve is the same as me trying to get back to playing full time. And when I do, my chase for that is equal. And that's the dope part about golf is that whether you're trying to break 100 or I'm trying to break 60, we have to accomplish the same things to do that. And that's what's dope. No matter what walk you come from, no matter what skill level you're at, it's all relative to the same chase and the same grind and the same struggle because we're all in our own heads in this game. We all think
it is,
at us. We all think everybody's waiting on us and complaining about this. No, they're just that messed up in their own mind about their own stuff right now. That's what golf really does, man. And that's the cool part. It's always a chase, no matter how good you get.
Well, you make a good point too, because golf is like it's such a social sport, but at the same time, like you are just one man playing for yourself the whole time.
Nobody's playing defense on you.
Right.
It's
you. I'm trying to think of the spot you were on 16.
Yeah.
So you had three. You had chip out, hook, or high fade. Which one did you go with?
Slung a 3-wood.
Just hooked it.
I tried bending it like Beckham as much as I could. Straight slung that thing. I ended up almost in the left green side bunker.
Damn,
so I got all the way back to set.
Sick shot.
I think a thing that you mentioned, or like the way you were talking about it, really resonated with me because of a video I saw, and like it's obviously like most things easier said than done. But basically the whole point of it was like golfers need to learn to start accepting their game instead of expecting a different one.
For sure. Well, and nowadays though, expecting it without effort though. That's
like don't expect it to get on the green, accept that it went into the bunker short and just go play.
And just then deal with it. And that's why anybody, you guys, you both have played with you got paired with a stranger. The guy barely moves it out of his shadow, or woman barely hits it out of their shadow. Like you're flying it by them, or you're hitting it plenty past them. You're hitting irons in the greens shorter than them, but you chalk it up at the end of the day and they kicked your butt because all they do is just do it their way. Bunt it down the middle, bunt it up around the green, chip it on 10 feet and in. If I one putt, it's a par. If I two putt, it's a bogey, and I'm going to just keep it moving.
And that's the funny thing about golf too, is like it's so enticing to just be that guy who can sling it a mile accurately, but like the fall off, it's like the hot to crazy ratio. You know what I mean? Like the farther you can launch it, the less accurate you're probably going to be.
And that's why we're all insane for playing golf.
Yeah, true. And then you see then you got like the little old man golf guys just dinking and doinking, like 100 yards, 200 yards, whatever, nothing crazy, and then they're walking off making scratch golf.
Dude, that speed difference adds a lot of spin, and the spin can get you in all sorts of trouble.
Spin's the most uncontrollable variable in golf, and speed is the difference maker in that spin ratio. But speed doesn't decide if you're good or not. Distance doesn't decide if you're good or not in this game. That's it does, and that's something that I've over just the last couple of years had to kind of like come off my. So when I came out of high school, I was probably one of the longest dudes in the area. I mean, I was hitting these 43.5-inch steel shafted drivers, carrying them 320, 330 coming out of high school. Like I was super long, and now like I can still move it. I move it past 300, but I'm nowhere near what I wasn't. That was hard to accept a little bit. Like, and now though, when I play, because I tell you what, I played against this kid in 2019, Jake Knapp. I don't know if you guys have seen this dude yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I played 3
He's rounds. Smooth, man. He's so smooth looking.
Hey, it's one thing on TV, and in person, like I played 3 rounds with this dude in Toronto. That was actually my best week of the summer in 2019, and got me the second half of the season. So that if I didn't play good or make the cut that week, I wouldn't have had a second half of the season, and we ended up tied for 6th that week. Had a really solid week, but played 3 rounds with this dude, Jake Knapp. And the very first round, we're about 5-6 holes in, and I've heard all summer long about how long this dude is. And my buddy who comes in a lot, Aaron Beverly, we were talking about, like, after that first round, man, he didn't really move it past me that much. Like, it was just like, a few times he was about 15, 20 in front of me where I was like, damn, that's moving it, but nothing crazy other than that. So day two, this dude put a Costco between me and him about 6 times. Like, is this dude hitting sprinkler heads right now? Like, how's it? We're on hole 8. It's a par 5. I blitz one, and I've got 9-iron into a 580-yard par 5. So I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I finally caught one.
He pulls out his 60.
Dude's ball. He had gap wedge. And it just like, so coming out of 2019, COVID happens. I'm not playing anymore. So that time off, like I lose even a little more distance. So now I go out and play with like Aaron Beverly, which is pound for pound the longest dude that I've seen in our area or even played with in a long time. He moves it a country mile past me. And a country, I'm not kidding, a country mile. If he wants to, he'll put 2 Costcos between us at times. And it's just like, but he doesn't. He doesn't. There's a playing speed. That these guys learn, right? And you're better. Tony Finau gets his ball speed up to like 210 with his boys. 210. And his average
that guy's swing arc, though. I mean, what is he, like 6'7" or something like that?
I don't know if he's that. He's big. He's big, man.
If he started training for like the long drive stuff, I can only imagine where he would launch that thing.
I mean, he's definitely said like he's not moving it nearly.
No, his average ball speed, dude. His average ball speed on tour is like 183.
Yeah. I think he just plays comfortably when he's on tour. But if he really wants to get at it, he knows he could.
Oh, you were spot on though with what you said about the ratios of speed and offline trajectories and things like that, right? Like you got to realize a dude moving it at 100 miles an hour that hits it with a 2-degree open face, he's offline by 15 yards.
Oh, yeah, it's the same as, like, rifle shooting. It doesn't matter if your rifle can shoot 2 miles out. If you're fucking 100 yards off target by the time it gets there, it's useless.
And then you take a guy that swings 130 with a 2-degree open face, he's offline 80 yards.
Right.
They both got a 2-degree open face, but the speed...
It is crazy how that small degree of difference translates to, like, yards when it's all the way out there.
That's why, like, I think that's why golf, like, offers the really cool dynamic. You'll never stop chasing. Ever. It's not possible. You'll never perfect this. You can perfect you can perfect your approach and your process. You can perfect this, and it shows in your best players. It shows when Brooks Koepka was on his run with the majors. That dude looked like a stone fortress in majors. Scheffler right now, the Sunday round of the Masters was one of the most impressive rounds that I've seen when he's got a small margin lead on the most pressured day in golf, and he looks like he's walking through a field of flowers, like, and just picking them and smelling them. Oh, I made bogey, no big deal. Oh, I made birdie, no big deal.
Yeah, didn't he 4-putt for the win?
Dude,
That's wild.
Just who cares? That dude just like he's accepted that every round of golf he plays, he's going to hit really good shots and really bad shots. And I
guess too, when you're at that level and you're at that level, everybody else is like right at your level or right behind you. You're making that kind of money. It's like, even when you're fucking up, like that level of fuck up is like would be so astronomical for someone else, like average people like us, to even come close to achieving, to like get to the point to make that fuck up, that it's like, it should just be water off a duck's back, like.
Well, it should be for sure. And then you see how a lot of these dudes don't ever get to that type of place, man, because it takes more than just your game to line up, man. It takes stars, it takes family, it takes support systems. I mean,
well, even just seeing the gaps between like a scratch golfer and like a Korn Ferry Tour player, it's like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, how can there even be a skill gap like that? And then you still have a gap between that and the pros. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Yep. And there's still that gap between your D1 college players who are ranked in the country. That transition, I don't know why. I don't know if it's something that's really explainable. But, I mean, in any aspect of life, you have your people that reach other areas that others just don't have the potential to do. I mean, that's just, and when you come to a game that comes to, at the end of the day, in my opinion, to get to that top level, it's pure mental. It's no longer physical. All these dudes can hit a golf ball. All these guys can make that golf ball do whatever it is that they want to do. And the dudes that are locked in here, and then if you do want to put any physical to it, they're the best wedge players on the planet, and they're the best putters on the planet.
Right.
Period. You're never going to hear that they're the best driver on the planet. That makes them the best in the world. That never goes in hand, ever.
Yeah, what
I've
do they
heard.
say? Driver for show and short game for dough.
Oh, well, our caveman
Yeah.
instinct wants to hit the long ball though more than
Yeah.
anything.
Knee sling stick, ball go far.
Yep.
No, it's true.
I've heard people mention how like the competition on Corn Ferry is just like ridiculous.
It's through the roof. It's PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really is though. And the changes that the tour is trying to do with eliminating like positions or player number, limiting the field numbers. That to me is just the worst thing that you can do for the game. Like and eliminating, they're supposed to eliminate like Monday qualifiers and get rid of like opportunities to change your life in a week. That's one of the dopest things about this game is it's like you could truly go out there on a Monday, career it, have 4 days, 5 days of your best golf of your life, and literally, I mean, look at the Michael Block. Look at that dude.
Yeah, dude, I love that story.
Look at that.
And he got his hole in
That's so
one.
cool. Yeah,
hole
that's
in
so
one
cool.
with Rory. Like, are you kidding me?
Like clean picking a ball right off the concrete path.
Doesn't
Like,
need anything else the rest of his life. He's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
His life is scripted.
For sure.
His
And
life's
that was
scripted.
literally like that. That was like a Hollywood rendition of like the underdog that made it. You know, like,
Your movie,
You know-
you got to watch it live.
My
Yeah.
personal take on this, and like I could be wrong, but I think it's going to open up so much more field and opportunities for live.
Oh, for
and
sure.
doing
There's,
this, yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Well, not even just. I think there's more. It's making other tours like the DP World Tour more valuable. It's making the Asian Tour and the Thai Tour and PGA Tour Canada or Latin America Tour, America's Tour now is what it's called. But it does make more value to those, and that's where I'm not mad at that aspect. But live 100% because now I don't think you're far away from seeing Monday qualifiers for live.
No. You think that was
Double.
intentional to assist those
I
kind of
don't know.
runner-up tours, or
I don't know. I think the PGA Tour has kind of been, I don't know, shooting themselves in the foot over the last 5 or 6 years with a lot of changes, and now you're going to limit and obviously I come from a place of like, hey, I'm one of those guys that I believe I am good enough, and now you're cutting off my opportunities. Like,
right?
So
Because how many positions did they actually eliminate?
Well, I think they're talking about going down to like 115, 120 man fields or 100 man
From
fields
150,
like
right?
from 144, 150.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
on
that's a
top of
lot.
that eliminates your amount of cards that you give out. It sends a domino effect. It sends a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm not mad from the standpoint of like, well, we're the best of the best. I get that, like you should be, but you offered something that no other sport offers. I can't change my life overnight as a basketball player.
Right.
Right.
Can't happen in one day. In golf, it truly you had an opportunity, or like I guess tennis kind of presents that with their qualifiers for an event to get into it or things like that. But golf has really kind of been one of those rare sports that like, hey, you can change your life overnight.
Right. Right.
You can be a sleeper. You can be somebody under a turtle shell. You can be not known. You can come from a little podunk town in Vacaville, California that used to be cow pastures and stuff, and literally change your life overnight with one great week. And I've always loved the race.
And you don't have to necessarily risk like a bunch of CTE or something like going to an open football tryout.
Yeah.
100%, man, 100%.
Dude, I would feel.
Aaron golf ball.
Yeah, definitely. I hope people know when to yell for.
I would. I don't know. I really feel bad because I love to watch him play, but like he's always like that 148 to 151. But Wesley Bryan,
Oh yeah, yep.
I would feel so attacked if I was him, like with this rule change.
And how do you not though? Like, how do you not as those dudes that are sitting in the 125 and up or the 120 and up? Like, just getting to there. I've definitely like at my time I would have taken 125 in the world every single year and been cool.
Yeah.
And even if I win, great. But I love Kevin Kisner, dude. I love his response in some of these like interviews he's had where a dude like asks him at Bethpage Black, hey, you can win this week, right? Essentially. And he's like, absolutely not. Well, then why are you playing this week? Because they pay a lot for 25th place. I guess
made cut his money.
Because I'm literally getting to enjoy a hobby and get paid for it. Like, why would you not?
It's not a hobby, though. It's not.
No, it's not a hobby, boys. That dude's filthy for that one too.
Yeah,
dude's filthy for that one. But I don't know, man. That's kind of one of the cool things about golf, though, is that I think it is really relatable to everyone's life in their own way, and that's why I think it's the most. I mean, you see kind of some tests that it's the most therapeutic sport on the planet. It truly is. I mean, you get people who are out there truly, and even if you're one of those people to say, I go out to walk, golf's providing that for you. Your place of silence, your place of quiet, peace. There's only two places I've been really on the planet with silence like that, and it's a golf course and a winery. Right? Like I don't know where else you can go and just get true silence and peacefulness. That's just a rare thing.
Definitely fishing.
Yeah, the only time I think is it fishing. Yeah, you can do that fishing, but
true.
I get that a little bit with like skiing sometimes because I'm not hearing anybody else around me. I'm just kind of like in my own zone.
Yep.
Or like when I used to ride a motorcycle, but that one was sketchy because like you can't get too much into your own zone because other people are idiots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to ask you the riders around here a little bit too, because California has the whole split lane stuff, and they'll catch you so off guard, just blasting by your mirror and shit.
I would never ever do that strictly because of, like you said, like too many people be caught off guard. Like last thing I need is somebody for whatever reason trying to like, oh, my jacket's caught in the door. They just open it right into you or some shit. Like, no, thank you.
So like, without getting into too many details, but we literally lost a guy in our squadron this year.
Damn, and that's a shame.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah. To change off of a slightly sad note there. So I wanted to ask you if you've heard of this guy, because I know you're saying like, every time you go out, it's really just what's going on in your head. Like you get your body to do things, but at the same time, there are certain variables that like can't really be controlled. And there's one dude that pops out to me that I feel like he had a weird level of control over a lot of those variables. And I wonder if you would have heard of him too, because he was big in the Canadian tour. Mo Norman.
Oh, of course.
That guy was like, he was clearly a savant for sure.
Savant.
Yeah, like 100%. He was on the spectrum, and golf was his saving grace. But like that guy, he was something else. And just watching those videos where it's just like same divot, same everything, or he's like, this ball is going to go 30 feet in the air. This one's going to go 40 feet in the air. This one's going to go 80 feet in the air. And then he'll be like, this one's going to go 100 yards. This one will go 110. And it's like, after, 100 shots out there, it's like 95 of them are within like 3 yards of each other or something crazy like that,
Yep, 100%. The coolest story about him that I heard is the dude in the U.S. Open on the 18th hole decided to go pitching wedge 3-wood instead of 3-wood pitching wedge.
Yeah, I heard that too, that sometimes he would take his second shot first just to spice it up because he's bored.
Just to like make it fun.
Yeah, or he would actually...
It's boring to do 3-wood pitching wedge. I'm going to do pitching wedge 3-wood. That's fun.
Yeah, and another one I heard about him was he was playing with a guy, and the guy saw him hit it like way out into what looked like nowhere. Like the fairway was straight out, and then it cuts around or whatever, and he just hits it like in this weird direction. And the dude's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, I found a shortcut. And they go up, and it's like he's just laying in like this bit of rough or whatever, but now he's got to 80 yards to the pin instead of like 160 had you gone the normal route or whatever. And the dude's like, what the sure enough, there's like this little patch of like acceptability in this weird nothing zone that he knew about, and he made his way there.
No right or wrong way to do it, man.
No, but I guess the question I really have is like, what do you think, like having trained a bunch of people and gone through all the training that you have and whatnot, like what do you think made that guy tick? Or like, what do you think his secret was that like how was he able to be how he was? If you even have an idea. I don't know.
I would just say, well, I think
he was wired differently. We know that for sure.
I think it's learning. I think it's just learning how you do it and not letting yourself wander from it. Like if I go into kind of trying to make it as understandable as for myself would be, I do it the way that I do it, period. I don't try and mimic somebody else. I will try and learn from somebody still and things of that nature. But for the most part, I've done it so long that I've found my way of doing it at a very high efficiency, even without practice. And I think that what he figured out was like, I know how to make this golf ball do anything that I want it to do, and I'm never going to question that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because he did have a weird swing and grip setup and everything. Like he held it more like a baseball bat.
Everything was weird.
and like everything.
Describing the movement of like how he wants to try and swing up and his hand going this way. This is the secret move. You just do this, and as long as you just do this, and you try and teach that to anybody who's less than or more than a 1 percentile, and they'll never be able to do that.
Right.
He just found his. I think it was more about like, and that's what I think everybody kind of has to do. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and swing it mechanically or fundamentally sound, but our bodies don't always do that. I might have an injury or a back injury, or my body might be built a little differently this way. And so finding out your way of doing it, I think, is what that dude perfected. It's like, I know how to do this, and I'm not.
Nah, he's a Jedi.
He's a Jedi.
He's a Jedi.
Except had to be his Padawan too.
He's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You made a good point though, and I guess that kind of ties into the old saying of like, swing your swing. Because I mean, at least from my analysis or my takeaway on things, it seems like there's, maybe like this small portion, like, 6 to 8 inches or so before and then through and then after the ball, and like that bit of swing is about uniform with like 90% of the guys who are kicking ass, or 99% of the guys kicking ass around the world, but everything outside of that is just whatever the fuck they do that feels right.
It is, and I call it waist to waist, but it really does come down to kind of 2 feet, right? The bottom of the swing, the moment of truth. If you're in the right spot there, then it doesn't matter what your backswing look like, doesn't matter what cut position you're in, doesn't matter about a 45-degree angle holding a serving tray, doesn't matter about shallowing it out. I mean, it really doesn't. Can you get the golf club back to square at impact? And that's really kind of as plain as you can make it. Can you get the club
The answer
square at
is
impact?
no, cannot.
The answer is no. Exactly.
It's why I'm coming to you.
Exactly. Dude, you're talking about how that guy just like randomly kind of challenges himself, but it reminds me of like, and I know you got a set of these too, the bad golf cards. Oh yeah, have you ever heard of those?
Ooh, I haven't. Oh no.
See, now this actually would be fitting for you because it's bad cards for good golfers. This is just double torment because I'm a bad golfer with
the system. Let's do it.
Yeah. So like, and this,
I'll go through a couple and show you.
So I just did this last weekend with a good friend of mine, Ray, and there's a handicap difference between us. So normally I'd be giving him some strokes, but we played this game and I was like, hey, I've done this once before and we don't have to do anything because these are literally the handicaps.
These are
depending on what you get. Because there's cards in there that's like, hey, hold on to redeem this, and like on the next par 3 of your choosing, if you hit the green, you hold out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. You got like a party one, right? This would be for everybody. So anytime, this is for everybody, all players must add a Serena Williams worthy grunt to each swing, plus 1 stroke penalty for each silent swing. It's called Tennis Star.
That's I'm game for something like that.
This is another one, attack, and it says off limits. So you get to use this card against your opponent, and you get to select 1 club from each player's bag. This club is off limits for that player during the hole. So you could take their putter, make him.
I like that.
Or like if your guy can hit it a mile, but he sucks with his irons, you could take his driver.
Yeah. I like that.
Then there's also good ones too. There's like a mulligan, and again, it says you may take a mulligan for each shot on this hole. If you hit a mulligan, you must play it. Ooh, so if you hit a mulligan, you have to play it, but you get 2 shots for every hole for every shot if you hit a bad one.
So that's how mulligans are supposed to be played, right?
Yeah, supposed
technically,
to be.
Like if you like, oh yeah, I'm hitting this.
Well,
that wasn't good. I'm just gonna take the first one.
When you buy 2 mulligans, you don't get to use 8.
Yeah, like the scramble tournaments that people sign up for, and they're like, oh, we've got mulligans, and then they hit it, and they're like, nah, I'll just take the first one, and then they save the mulligan for later. It's like you cashed it in.
Yeah, okay, it's only the provisional that's the one where you don't have to count it if you find your original, right?
I think as long as you don't play a provisional past your first ball, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you, do you mean past by like distance?
Yeah.
So technically, if you hit a good tee shot and then you played a provisional and you topped it, you could play that ball all the way until you get to the first tee shot, right? Is that not how it works?
That might.
I wonder because
that's
they make
only
you go
if
up there to
you
see if
didn't
you
know
can
the
find
first
it and
one
then
was
go
good.
back. Yeah. Well, for the pros, they probably would just have spotters tell you.
I think it is I think it is because you got to think the provisionals. The purpose of the provisional is to keep pace of play.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So if you did top the provisional, I believe you can play it up until that point of the ball. But I think
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense too, because then you're going up there to find out if it was even in play to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise on tour they'd have spotters go check it for you, but we don't have that luxury.
No, we
So
don't.
it kind of makes sense that you could play it up to finding out whether or not your first ball was in play, and then decide to swap or keep.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that situation would be rare because you have guys like
No, but
Elliott
it's
that don't
happening,
top the
and
ball.
that's why like I get stuck because I feel like I've seen it play out both ways. I feel like I've like been either a part of it at some point in playing where one rules official said, since you've already played that provisional, then your
Oh,
other
so
ball
it's the
team
tournament
is
host
off.
too, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
I almost feel like
Okay.
I've had an experience, and that's why like I really don't know what's right or wrong on that. But to me, I kind of see it as you should be able to play that provisional up to that point.
I
'Cause
think
the whole
Right.
provisional
maybe
is
I'm
paced.
just referencing USGA, but I think
Yeah.
I think they're the ones that say like up until you get to the
For
first.
sure, for
point,
sure.
Like,
And that's
There's a
just
lot
let
of
you know.
obscure rules.
But dude, hey, as far as I'm concerned, half of the golf rules are effed.
Yeah.
They can be thrown
Yeah.
in. As far as the fact that I have to hit a golf ball out of a divot in the fairway is completely asinine.
It
That is completely so wrong.
Yeah, like why you couldn't just lateral move as if it would make a difference.
You hit it in the rough and you get
You
in the
can take
divot, you're
relief.
supposed to be penalized.
You
But
can
if I
take
hit it in
relief
the
from so many
fairways,
things,
yes,
but not a fucking divot.
it's the objective of the game.
Yeah.
Like if I hit it down the middle of the fairway, I should not be penalized. If I hit it in the rough, penalize me. I didn't hit it in the right place.
Right.
Yeah. So you're telling me because my tee time was at 3:00, and I'm having to hit out of these dudes' fat ass beaver tail divots.
Yeah.
Played at 9:00.
Yep. And especially like you play, of course, with the collection area where balls just kind of all funnel down
Yeah.
to the
Like
spot. It's like, okay, roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
Dude, yeah, golf does have a lot of weird rules. Like I was talking to my buddy about this the other day because I ended up sharing the video to him because I know he knows a lot of obscure rules, and it was an instance where this dude holed out an albatross but didn't know, thought that he like flew the green, lost his ball or whatever, so he went up there and was being a sneaky shit with his friends and just dropped another ball to play, and so he like puts it past, it goes past the hole, and they're like, oh, you missed it, blah blah blah, and then they're going over and they look and they're like, wait, there's a ball in the hole, and they pull out and he's like, oh, that's my ball. And so his friends are like, no, you're not getting that, and he's like, oh, come on, you got to give it to me. And my buddy was like, honestly, dude, as jacked as it may sound, like the albatross counts. As soon as the ball is holed out, the hole is done. Like it doesn't matter. And I was like, I feel like he should still get like a stroke penalty for trying to cheat, even though he didn't have to. But like the fact that he was willing to do it, I was like, fuck you, dude. Like,
dude, who would take somebody's albatross away? That's insane.
well, they didn't really. I mean, it's his friends.
I get it, but like,
Karma will get that dude back at some point.
oh
hey,
yeah, for sure.
You had to have gin today, buddy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna something's gonna
Right.
something's gonna happen. He's gonna get that hole in one on his second tee shot.
Good par.
Thank God I already have one. Or
ooh, there we go.
I would
There
be
we
mad.
go. Where did you
Honestly, though, even if it was still just a par, technically, I'd walk away with the half chub like it was a real hole in one. I mean, come on, it's still a hell of a shot.
It is. And it still makes no sense how it is that I hit the best shot of my life and yet I have to buy you a drink. That blows my mind, dude.
Yeah.
That's so backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God the guy I was playing with had somewhere to be after the round because
Oh yeah, well I've had a few hefty bar tabs because of an ace, dude.
he's
Not
one
fun.
of those dudes that
Damn.
can probably charge up $100 pretty quick.
Oh yes, easily. I've had a few pretty ones.
We've had that with we used to have a bunch of people, they would get mad at us, like, so I used to host radio overseas for a little while, and if you got named on the radio and someone from your shop heard, you had to buy a case for everybody. Like if you were featured in an article or something and you got named, they're like, oh, someone's a celebrity. And they'd be like, buy us a case. Yeah.
Dude, so speaking more on these bad golf cards, I think it would be super fun to do, first of all.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah, because there's got to be some kind of handicap, but Dude, so I just used these for the second time last weekend, and let me tell you that this round was like a movie. Like I literally got all the sucks for you cards the entire fucking day. There was a hole where I had to get like
Let me
this
see
is
what a good
paradise.
sucks for you card is to show them. Oh, here's
This is a
one.
whole-
What are the odds? You can only use odd numbered clubs. So like, and your punter is 0, so you can't even use your punter.
Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah.
Dang,
I got
the
one.
wedge is gone.
I made, I think like a 6 or a 7 on a hole because it was like it said something about like grips being out of play and you're like you can't touch your grip or whatever, so you had to like choke up
Oh, you
so
got
far on the
shafted.
shaft, yeah.
I bet they called it shafted too.
Dude.
And I did it and I was like, oh, this shouldn't be that bad, and I couldn't hit the fucking ball for any like I couldn't hit it like I thought it was gonna be way easier than it was. I thought it was gonna be way easier than it was. Yeah, anyway, it got to I think we were at least as far as stroke goes, we were pretty matched up on the last hole. And then I got a decent card. I don't think it affected anything. But I hit a good drive and I was like, I'm gonna bury this hole and get him by 1 on the last one. And I hit it to like 20 feet and then sunk the putt. It was like one of those ones where you can like walk it in from 6 feet. It was such a movie at the end of it. That was super fun though.
That's the
Those
one
cards,
shot coming back, man.
yeah, those cards are something else.
Yeah, I need to get a set of those because I got some buddies that I'd love to play that with. That'd be good.
Oh, they're fun. I'm pretty sure a group. Like I went out with some friends and we would do like every other hole. We would do one just to kind of keep pace. It was a little busy out there,
Yeah.
and I can only imagine what the group behind us thought because they're like pulling up to their second shot in the fairway as they see me having to execute my card, and I'm getting down into like an army low crawl and using my putter as a fucking pool stick to try and get it in the hole.
Dude, we ended up with 2 cards that affected putting on the same hole. And it was like I had to it told me I had to straddle it and hit the ball between my legs backwards. So basically I was like that hole was to my back and I had to do that. And then he pulls a card out and says you have to putt with your eyes closed on this hole. So I had to do that and close my fucking eyes.
We had one
Yeah.
where it was for putting like every single one of their putts. They got to take 2 putts, and then every time an opponent putted, it was weird. They got that. Yeah, they got the lucky draw with like they got to take every putt twice, and they got to keep the best ball. And then they pulled one that was every time we would putt, if we didn't get it in the hole, they could move it away 1 club length in any direction.
Whoa.
Oh, dude! So it's like you got the read, and then somebody moves it to where you don't like.
Yeah, or like you fly past it 3 feet, and then he moves you another club length off down the hill or something. You know, like
That's brutal.
yeah, it can get rough, man.
Not nice. That's
not nice at all. It's fun
there's
though.
There's one that just basically says "fuck you." It's like add 2 strokes on the hole just because. And imagine that got paired with like you're playing against somebody, they got an attack card. They can do whatever it says to make it difficult for you, and then you draw a card that says just because 2 strokes.
Well, the one saving grace that they give you is everybody gets a hold card at the beginning, and it's a hard pass card. So you either hold it till the very end and get 3 strokes taken off your final score, or at any point in time you can play that card as a hard pass for whatever the challenges they're trying to give you.
I like that. I'd probably keep it to the end of the round.
Yeah.
You know what would make it? That's what I usually end up doing too. It's usually the safest bet because honestly, as much as the challenges are a pain in the ass, it's kind of what makes it fun.
Oh, for sure it is.
Like if you want to have some laughs out there, you got to take all the challenges. It is
unless you have to play shaft only. I'm telling you, that's way more difficult than I thought it would be.
Well, imagine if you just combine the typical like trolling golf rules with this game, and then you just have everybody playing like practically every other hole with their pants down. It's like the amount of duff shots that aren't going to get past the forward tees.
Oh man, stop.
Just got everybody hitting weird shots, funny grip setups with their pants around their ankles, just wobbling around. People come running come up behind your group like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
Well, we're gonna play. We're just gonna go around.
I feel like that would be super funny to get somebody to like get a group to play an entire hole like that, and then just like speed up the footage, and you just see these guys like waddling with pants around their ankles like, every shot, like lasering, and then like, but it's all fast speed and shit.
Between their legs.
Yeah,
exactly. Your buddy over there. I wonder if they make one. They should have named it hole to hole or something. If they made it that way, like you got to face your hole out the hole while you're putting.
Yeah, dude, I think they just call it straddle or something like that.
That's so brutal.
Yeah, it made you feel bad about it.
Reverse cowgirl.
Come up with your own set of cards, Kyle. I think
maybe I should. Yeah. Good bad cards for good golfers, the dirty version.
Deluxe version.
Yeah.
I don't think
version.
I think the way golf lingo is already is
already it's
there.
filthy, bro.
It's already
out of context, it sounds so gay.
Oh, great!
Dude, please get inside
Absolutely.
me.
What a nice shot.
Yeah.
So I had to take my shaft to the shop the other day because it wasn't connected to my head properly, and I just couldn't work it out there.
Look at your grip on your shaft while you're
Lingo's not good for the game.
Hey, you mind cleaning my balls while you're over there?
Or like the other day I just saw Good did this thing where it was like one guy was Santa and everybody else was cringe against him, and they're like, oh, this is like 4 times they're like, oh, Santa's inside of me.
Gross.
Pause.
Yeah. Pause. Santa, pause.
Oh no.
For sure. Hey Elliott, sorry to go back to lesson stuff real quick. So were you saying that you started up in like 2020 or so, like when like things weren't
like I was kind of teaching before and after hours at the Kepler's where I was working. I opened up my studio in 2022, so I've been open 2 years, going on 3 years.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And so is this just your full-time thing now? Like this is just your bread and butter?
Yeah, it is, and it's grown on me quite a bit to the point where like I'm really like enjoying what I get to do, because at the end of the day, man, I'm sharing my love and passion. I mean, that's literally what I get to do every day, and not too many people are get that luxury. And so being able to be more involved for my girls and being able to control my schedule and be fully flexible in that's something that's priceless for me now. And so I was just talking with my wife the other day. I'll never work for somebody again. I'll never go work for. I just won't. It's too valuable for what I have now to lose it. And so we've got some stuff in the works. We're trying to expand, and we're trying to get a little bigger. And I think we're going to be able to accomplish that next year. But like the flexibility and being able to now truly kind of create a new craft of my own, because that's kind of how this is for me, is like I'm learning how to teach more efficiently. I'm learning how to teach, I've got a lady that I just took on. She doesn't really speak much English. And like that, our first lesson, I was like freaking out. And at the end of it, I loved it because she understands more than somebody who understands the language, man. It's a trip. And it's like, I've had a couple of other customers, like I got a dude that kind of has a little bit of Tourette's, and I got like, guys that have some disabilities and stuff, and really being able to help them improve and stuff like that is something that I never really knew the satisfaction and enjoyment that comes along with that. And so coaching and teaching is really something that I really am starting to enjoy doing. And it's something that I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this, for sure.
Oh yeah, man. No, I think there's definitely something to be said. Like it's weird. I don't want to phrase it as like selfish, because it's not like, but it is kind of interesting, like how it makes you feel to see the excitement and enjoyment and like and just like the light go off in somebody else when it's pertaining to something that you have a passion for.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like I've suffered in this game tenfold what most can possibly imagine. I mean, I've missed 9 PGA Tour events by 1 stroke. I've missed the U.S. Open by a couple strokes. Like, and that though, I mean, I think that's kind of what's obviously led to where I'm at now, right? Like, all these failures are the reason that I've had the success that I've had, and why I'm able to do this, and why I'm able to, open up a studio in my hometown, do zero amount of advertisement, and grow for 2 straight years. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been, and it's, I mean, don't get me wrong though, like, I'm finally at a place now where I never felt this way in the past with like my golf and stuff like that, but it's been kind of cool of late that I feel like I've earned this. I've put in 27 years of my blood, sweat, and tears into this, and I'm finally kind of building something that feels like it's paying me back for all the efforts that I've put in. Because I'll be honest, man, I've slept out of my car weeks at a time. I've slept at every truck stop from here to LA. Like, trying to chase this game professionally is not a pretty picture at all for most.
I mean, it seems like you're building your legacy now.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know that's a lot of people put a lot of, like, there's a lot of weight to that word, I guess you could say, but like, technically speaking, like, whatever people remember of you when you're gone is your legacy. And and that's what you're building now, like, with your family and your career, and you're getting to build it around a passion. And so you get to be passionate about the legacy you're leaving behind. So, like, I can totally see why that lit a fire for you.
Like, being remembered for Jake Knapp just out driving the shit out of you.
Costco's, dude.
Did you say anything to him about
First
that?
day, I'm like, okay, I still got a little heat in the tank. I can still move it a little bit. And the second day where these balls were going, I was like, that's not possible.
So you're yelling up to him, what's the wind like up there?
Like, he's fucking moving.
Did you say anything to him?
He's swinging
about that?
I know, he's like Ernie Els. It's like, it doesn't look like anything's happening.
Oh, bro, it's Freddie. I heard an analyst say
Couples, yeah.
He's the athletic version of Freddie Couples if he came into today's game. And that's
Couples is like, what do they say? They're like Couples, like, fastest hips, because it's crazy. Like, you watch it, it's smooth and it looks like practically nothing's happening. But when you slow it down, it's like he's like this, and then
it looks like he accelerates through the ball. It almost looks like he slows down, and the ball just goes forever.
It's
extremely efficient.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
best way that I could sum that up. The dude's just super, super efficient through the ball.
I wanted to ask you too, when you mentioned, because I know this is how I feel, and I'm curious if you have the same, and if so, like, what did you do to kind of like mentally learn to cope with it? But like missing those tournaments by 1 stroke, 2 strokes, maybe even 3 to 5. I mean, 5's probably pushing it, and even 3 might be pushing it. But like 1, 2 strokes, it's like, when I've ever missed the cutoff for a test or a promotional rating or something like that, it's like, if I miss it by like 5, 10 points, I'm kind of really pissed, because it's like I was almost there. But if I missed it by like 30, 40, it's like, well, I clearly didn't know what the fuck. I had no business being there, right?
Fair.
So like, how do you deal with that? Because I feel like those losses are so much harder than the like missed it by a mile.
It's in the beginning, that was one of my biggest struggles, was like pounding and beating myself up, like missing stuff by 1, like that. And at the end of the day, I think it really just comes down to a choice of reaction. It's a choice of how you want to spin it. I'm probably one of the most optimistic people in this game that you'll come across. I got the biggest pom-poms on for somebody when I'm teaching them. If I'm out on the golf course playing with you and we're out playing a casual round, I literally am trying to respond every single time in just some positive manner, I think, because it's forced it out of me. I've learned that the other way of approach is not good for me. It's just like, it's humbled me so much, and getting through those 1-stroke losses eventually had to be flipped into, I'm that close. Not man, I fucked up, man, this and that, you're so terrible. How did you miss that putt? How did you miss this? It's easy to go that route. I think that's the easiest route to take. It's the easier path. The harder path is to convince yourself and believe that you are that close, or that, hey, next time that putt's going to fall. Like, you keep doing the right things, and you keep doing this process, and you keep sticking to your recipe that renders good results. And that's what's going to get you through it, because becoming result oriented in this game is kryptonite. It's going to be the biggest downfall of any good player, is being result oriented. So that's literally what all those losses kind of got me to, is a place. And I'll be honest, man, like having kids was the tipping point for me. That was the point now where it's mentally tiring to beat myself up. It's mentally, I don't have the energy to do that. I don't want
Right.
to. And then, this year I had my worst, I did US Open qualifying, and I had my worst tournament score in the past like 15 years of playing tournament golf. I think I shot like 82. And I had an outer body experience when I got home. So I leave, I'm in Fountain Grove, Santa Rosa. I leave to drive back, and the entire time I'm in my normal place of like darkness after shooting a really bad round of golf. And trying to get out of it, trying to, whatever, music, looking at pictures. Man, I walked through my door, and Zuri runs right up to my oldest daughter, runs right up to me. Daddy's so excited. And all of a sudden it was just gone. It was just, it was literally an outer body experience that I've never had happen, where all the, I don't know what you want to call it, all the fear, the doubt, the anger, all the negative thoughts, all that stuff that was in a pot just completely shattered and disappeared. And it didn't matter that I shot 82. It was over. All that matters is that this little girl right here was happy that I was home, and that one smile, that one little hug made it like, it's not life or death anymore. And
Right.
so my change in my golf has been, and I talk with some of my better players about it, and a little bit of a humble brag too right now, I guess, but I don't practice. I've had one range session this year. I do not practice this game, and I've shot 64 times this year. I've had 4 opportunities to shoot 59,
Jesus.
and I don't
Damn.
practice.
Have you shot a 59?
Yeah, I shot it at Green Tree before they closed.
Nice.
That was
Damn.
my
Oh, yeah.
150.
So is that your
But
lowest? 59?
Yep. I've shot 12 under. So par, it was a par 71, so it was 12 under. So I've shot 12 under a dozen times or so, but I've only shot 59 once at Green Tree.
Dude, that is some serious skill. to
Yeah,
get
that's
out
really,
get there.
really good golf. Well,
The
go
mental
ahead.
side, what I wanted to just kind of add, I've really come to a place where I just fully believe if my mind's in the right place, there's not a golf
Mhm.
shot that I can't hit, and if my mind's in a bad place, there's not a golf shot that I can't fuck up. Like I can't.
Right.
My mind's in a bad spot, it's going to be bad. If my mind's in a good spot, I stand a chance to make a good swing. I still hit a lot of really bad shots in a good frame of mind. That still happens. I'm not on TV, so clearly I still hit really bad golf shots. But
Right.
the mental belief system is the defining factor to me, and that's why I really do hope I do get the stars align again and let me chase a little bit. Let me get another year at it. Let me get another 2, because I really think for myself that I just didn't get enough opportunities at that level to sustain it. I didn't get enough opportunities at the peak to be able to remain there. And that's what it comes down to me at any level that I've been at. I suck in the beginning, just like any freshman in school sucks. You can't take your senior year exams, your freshman orientation day. And by the end of a senior year, by the end of a period of time, I learned how to win at every level that I've played at. And so to me, I think there's what's crazy to me is there's so many guys that are similar to me in that aspect, where there's dudes that are plenty good to play on the PGA Tour that are working your 9-to-5 jobs that are, there really are a lot of guys that, but that's the difference, is that stars have to align more than just your golf game has to be there, right? I mean, it takes more, and I think that's with anything though. Most job promotions don't come because you're a great worker. It comes because, yes, you bust your butt, but you got put in front of the right person. You made the right connection. You made the right relationship. You helped in the right way. My first company that I got on with was Paylormade and Adidas in 2007, because I went and worked a demo day for them, and I hit balls in front of their regional rep. And the next week I was down at the Kingdom. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, hard work
cool.
always pays off, but there's no accounting for timing. You can't.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I think, but the deciding piece is you can't rely on the timing part. You have to be putting in the hard work at all times. Timing.
Yeah, well, that's the only reason. That's the only way that you get the timing right.
That's it. And the timing won't be right if you're not putting in the work.
Right. Opportunity doesn't knock on your door. You gotta keep knocking on opportunity's door.
And I think that's also kind of what's helped this, is that what I'm doing now is very, very realistically attainable on many different spectrums. Maybe the PGA Tour isn't the same relativeness to achieve. That's a dream, right? You can call that, but that's what's gotten me here, and that's one thing that I get to show my girls is like, I love doing this, and I've loved this for 27 years. If you find something that you really love and you just stick to it, at some point it will give you what you need. And I believe that in the past, teaching wasn't what I needed at those times. I still had a lot of hard lessons to learn the hard way, and that's what those one stroke tournaments are. They're the hard
Right.
lessons. They're, hey, you were that close, and now I'm going to rip it from you. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep chasing, or are you going to stop now? I mean, that's, and I know about 5 guys in our greater area that I would have bet money at a younger age would have been on the PGA Tour, and those 5 guys don't even play golf anymore because it hurts too much. They go out practicing and shoot 66 and wonder why they're working a desk job. And then the next day they shoot 78 and they're like, this is why I'm fucking working a desk job.
Right.
Vicious.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, is even those things, like even those guys that you're saying are working 9 to 5s and could be on the tour. Who's to say that the day they get tested for it is going to be a good day for them?
100%.
You know, and like they might have like 9 out of 10 days might be great days.
Yep.
But that one day that they get tested is the same day that like Rory missed his 3-foot putt, and it's like, but you can't when it's a tryout. You can once you're Rory McIlroy, but you can't in a tryout.
100%, man. 100%.
So yeah, it's interesting. I will say though, I'm totally with you about, you know, I love the course cheerleaders. Like I kind of try to be one myself. You know, I dress flashy, I play trashy, and I tell everybody I might not be good at golf, but I try to be a good time.
Love it. I love it. Love it.
Yeah,
so that
you make a lot of friends that way.
I mean, I have, man. I honestly, that's probably the biggest way that I've met people out here is just meeting people through the golf groups I joined to find people to play golf with. And then the people I've met through those guys, and then just random pairings with people. Cause I mean, I work from home. So unless I'm going out golfing or going to my jiu-jitsu training or something, like it's really easy for me to just stay home.
Yeah.
And so I don't have, you know, it's not like you go out to lunch with your coworkers and then they tell you their hobbies and you're like, oh, I have that in common too. And then you make friends that way. Like I don't really have that.
Yeah.
So golf has been awesome with being a social sport. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And sorry, I wanted to touch on it before, but I didn't want to cut you off. But you had said something about being there and like, you know, missing it by 1, missing it by 2. And it's like, you know, are you really going to beat yourself up over that? And it got me thinking, like, you know, it's been said before, and I think it'll be said till the end of the time, like, the majority of cases, we are our own worst critics.
Sure.
And, you know, we'll dig out, like, I tell people all the time, of like, there's no way you could say anything worse to me than I say to myself on a golf course after a bad hit. Like,
it's a real hack kind of stuff.
And I would, I would never say what I say to myself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's, you know, like duffing a shot, and my buddy's like says something. I'm like, give me a second. I'm going to walk to that. I need to have a talk with myself. And it's like, you know, I'll meet you at the green. Please bring my putter. We'll see how long it takes me to get there. But something that popped up in my head when you had said that, and like, obviously it's so much harder to do in the moment and whatnot, but like, especially in a position you were in, missing a tournament slot by 1 stroke or 2 strokes or whatever, it's like the amount of credit that you really should be giving yourself for knowing that, like, there are how many other potentially millions, but at least tens of thousands for sure, people that have tried just as hard as you had just tried and weren't even remotely close to where you just were at. So like, how much credit do you deserve to give yourself for that? Like a fuckload.
Well, especially how many people are you beating on Monday just to be there? Just
to be the next day, yeah, or that too, yeah.
And nowadays you have pre-qualifiers to get into Monday qualifiers.
Yeah.
Right. So like this, I'm just thinking of that, you know,
thousands of dudes, right? And that's why I think it, you know, it wasn't a conscious choice of mine. It was kind of forced, but that's why at a certain point it's like, okay, on these 1-stroke tournaments, I can't go down the negative side of it. I have to be on the optimistic side of it. I have to give myself kudos and credit. I do have to pat myself on the back because, as we all know, golf doesn't do that. Golf is the quickest thing to stump a mud hole in your ass and then walk it dry over and over and over and over again. And the second that you say, I figured it out, okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second you figure this game out, good fucking luck. You will suck balls the next time that you go out and play.
Yep.
That's a fact.
It's true.
You have to just kind of go out neutral. You kind of, and that's where, like, you listen to, you know, Tiger Woods. I don't know if you guys have ever heard him in an interview, but he talks about what he uses warm-ups for. The average person uses warm-ups to figure it out,
Is he trying to get all his bullshit out? Like, don't do the dumb stuff?
learn a new move that I saw on YouTube last night.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah.
can play today with that new thing.
Oh, yeah.
His approach was full polar opposite. I use warm-ups to see what I'm doing today. What
How
pattern
far is the
is
ball going today? Right.
Is it drawing? Is it fading? Is it going this far? Is it going? Am I thinning it? Am I chunking it? What is my pattern today?
So he just goes up and is like, I'm just going to, like, every day, every swing, I'm going to have the same swing thought, the same setup, and the same swing, at least as far as what I think is the same. And then I'll just go test it for a bit before the round to see how that's delivering, and then just repeat that knowing to compensate for XYZ.
Golf loves a broken record. Taking the same 8 bars over and over again. And that's what that dude did better than anybody. I woke up on Thursday, I was hitting a 5-yard draw. I played a 5-yard draw. I woke up Friday hitting a 10-yard fade. I played a 10-yard fade. That's something that I don't even know that I could do. Like that level of commitment mentally to trust. Because visual. I see a ball working a certain way every time I step up to a shot. So if you're telling me that my pattern today is going against what my eyes see, that's going to be a very hard thing to trust and believe and make that connection with. And this dude every day. But he's so spot on accurate. And one of my biggest takeaways from the Barracuda that I played, I had Rocco Mediate, Jason Gore, Chris Stroud, Mark Hubbard, handful of other guys, all at some point come up to me when I was on the putting green or during a practice round with them and like literally say to me, I was crazy for being out there practicing. They're like, there's nothing. And I go, my response is, I never played Montreux. I got to learn the golf course. I can't come into it blind. And the funny part was I went into Hidden Valley, the Monday qualifier blind. I never played it. And then I medaled and shot the lowest round of that Monday qualifier that week. So here I am contradicting what I just lived myself, saying that I have to learn this.
Yeah. Well, is their point basically like, dude, if you know your game, all you need is to see a layout and just use your game.
There's nothing that you will learn in golf in 24 to 48 hours.
Well, also true, yeah. That's 10,000 hours, right?
All the 22 years that I've played this game already, all the years that I've, whatever it is, all the time and repetitions that I put in to get into that tournament is what prepared me for it. There was nothing new that I was going to learn putting, chipping, hitting balls on Tuesday, Wednesday before playing Thursday.
Like you're just tiring yourself out for nothing.
Yeah. They all said you should be laying flat on your back in the hotel room hydrating. and now removed from it. And the best part was I didn't even believe them then, right? I didn't trust them then. I'm still chasing 2017, 18, 19, not making it.
No, they're fucking with me. They just want to win. They're getting in my head.
Now that I don't practice and I'm able to shoot these crazy numbers still, I'm like, dude, these dudes were fucking right.
How crazy is it?
There's nothing that you're going to learn in a short period of time in this game. This game demands repetitions. It demands time. And that's what
muscle memory, and you don't build that fast.
But time is what it demands more, and time's our most precious thing, right? Like most people don't have the time to put into it to improve. But that's one thing that you cannot fake. And then I don't care how good your physical gets. Put all the time you want into the physical. Become a range pro and learn how to hit every shot on the range and be amazing at doing the physical. And if your mind is fragile as F, you're still going to suck at this game on the golf course. And that's why this cohesive, that's where my approach to teaching is. I don't care if you're a day one person. I'm trying to already get you to think. Like you gotta start building a system of how to execute a golf swing in order to get really good at this game. And that doesn't matter what level you're at. Learning how to think better and more efficiently before hitting a golf shot will improve anybody's game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going for the whole like golf mentality, not just technique.
It's got to be more than physical. To play this game successfully and at a very high level or getting to those higher levels, the mind has to support the physical change. And if it doesn't, it's going to crumble. Your swing. And I watched the dude. I knew this guy growing up. I'll leave his name out. I don't know where he's at now, but I watched this guy on the range. Dude was a pure stripe show. I mean, just every ball hit, didn't matter the club, just amazing, and would go into tournaments and finish dead last. Dead last. He'd shoot crazy high numbers because on the golf course, it's about whether you can commit to a shot that you're terrified of, that you are completely scared to hit. The water's there, the bunker's there, the tree's there, this is there. Can you get past that and be like, it doesn't matter, I still have to do X, Y, Z in order to execute this shot? And that's where the mental side is going to be the deciding piece on anybody truly like reaching the higher levels in this game. Get the physical down. You have to do that. That's the only way you improve repetitions. But outside of that, you have to bring the mind to support the physical side. Otherwise, it's just going to crumble, in my opinion.
No, that's spot on. And I mean, that's whenever my game starts falling apart is when I start dogging myself too much and not laughing at enough.
Or overthinking, right? Trying to do 10 things at once in a golf swing is never going to work.
Yeah, like going up, like, all right, I need to make sure I like squat into this. I really got to get under it, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, just go up and swing, just relax.
Have you guys seen that meme where it's like a piece of tape on there, and it's like 5 different swing thoughts on their club head or whatever?
Oh yes, honest driver.
Yeah.
Well, the swing thought really should just be like see ball, hit ball.
In essence, it should be though. When playing, it should kind of get to that target. What's my target? Where am I trying to hit this ball? I don't care if it fades to it, draws to it. Like, where's my target? Can I get this ball to my target? And then when you're practicing and you're on the driving range, that's when you try and figure it out. That's when you try and learn something new and do something different. All right, I'm really going to over-exaggerate this feel and make a different move here. You got to do that fearlessly to improve. You have to. You can't be afraid to make a bad feeling swing. You can't be afraid to make it feel totally wrong, because wrong in this game is the opposite. It's right. And I hate saying that, but that's dude.
Well, you know, the listeners will get to hear this now. When we had talked earlier before this episode, I had said, like, you know, golf is one of the most counterintuitive sports around. You're looking out at some object, at some flagstaff that's, you know, 410 yards out or whatever, and you're like, cool, I need to get there in as few swings as possible. Allow me to stand sideways and stare at the fucking ground when I try and do it. Why?
Like, so your average bad swing in this game is over the top big slice, right? And that ball moves to the right. Every person that's played this game is afraid of right. And now you're telling me you have to convince that person that to make the ball stop going to the right, you have to swing the club to the right? Man, screw you. That direction. Why in the world would they intentionally swing that way? Because if you want that ball to go to the left, you have to swing the club more to the... It's vicious, man. It's vicious game.
I think the most difficult part about that is getting people to commit to it, because it's like, you're going to change this, and then you're going to continue to hit the ball right before it gets better.
Yep. 1,000%.
So you change it, and then they just start blocking the ball. And then when they really, like, trying to get somebody over that phase of committing to that right there.
And that's why it's the time of competitions. That's why it's the amount of... You have to... to make a swing change, you have to fail so many times before you can get it right. You have to make a bad swing so many times to build a feel and a rapport with what's new, what's different. Like that's asking somebody to jump off of a cliff and know they're going to be okay. That human brain doesn't accept that. It doesn't want to. Just like
and then you've got the problem of like add one more new thing, and then like the last 3 things fall apart.
Exactly, and that's why I have to try and do 6 things at once. No, the problem is there wasn't enough time spent on the first thing, to get it solidified in place. And that's one cool thing that I've seen, like in the couple years that I've been teaching now full time. Let's say a guy comes in and, hey, we have 5 things to work on over a course of time, right? And we start working on 1, right? All of a sudden, 2 months later, 3 and 4 disappeared. Like now I've only got 3 things to work on, because when I improved 1, it affected this area and it affected this area also. So that's in my opinion, you can't make 5 changes at once, because it's not actually changing 5 things at once.
Right. There's a ripple effect.
Yeah, it's not possible. So when you do make the commitment to work on 1 thing, if I work on multiple things with somebody, 1 or 2 things are static. It's a grip change, posture change, but it's really only 1 swing thought at a time, because once that's in place, then you kind of reassess and see, okay, we got this in place now. The takeaway's a little cleaner. What's happening now?
Right.
Yeah, hey, you got the takeaway cleaner. Now the club's a little more shallow than it once was. So now we don't have to work on shallowing it out, because the takeaway's a little better.
Right. Like that'd be something like they're like, oh, you know, I'm struggling with accuracy lately, and you find out they're just coming through real open face. But then another problem they had was like not getting enough spin on their wedges. But then once they start making flush, clean contact, they're getting the spin they needed.
100%. Yep.
Right.
100%.
Okay, cool. No, that's neat. I say that particularly because I suck at getting spin.
That's
I'll be like,
contact.
boop, right next to the pin, and then it's like, see you later.
Clean the grooves, bro. Use a brush. Clean the grooves.
I do. It's just I just struggle with the contact.
Minimize the amount of grass in between the club face and the ball.
To help you out.
Well, that's honestly my biggest struggle is if I get a divot, it's a great shot and it's 100% by accident. If I take a divot with this to get distance or whatever, I'm just Campbell's chunky all fucking day.
I get that. Well, it's the same. It's kind of the same effect as like, don't hit it in the water. Don't hit it in the water. We know where it's going.
Oh, actually, that's a great point you say, because I've been saying this to a lot of people lately, and I'll say it to you. Maybe it's something you might want to pass on to your people or whatever, but it'll resonate because of what you said. So I heard a TED Talk with a guy, and he was basically saying something along the same lines, but he was using professional skiers as an example.
Okay.
And he was basically saying the human mind is incapable of not thinking about something. Like if I tell you not to think about an elephant, you just fucking did. So his point was skiers don't think when they're going through the trees and moguls and stuff, they don't think, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree. Because the body follows the mind, and you're probably going to hit a tree. What they think is stay on the path, stay on the path, stay on the path, and they just keep their eyes where they're trying to go. Yeah. And so I've been trying to tell people that, like, it's easier said than done because you see the water and you're like, fuck, don't go there, don't go there. But I'm trying to get more conscious of being like, put it on the green, put it on the green, put it on the green, or whatever the thought needs to be.
Think more of what you want the ball to do, not what you don't want it to do.
Right, exactly.
That's being target oriented, right? That's exactly the key. I had a guy try it out. I told him to go play 9 holes and say, don't hit the green, don't hit the green, don't hit the green. And he hit more greens in 9 holes than he had ever hit. And I said,
I swear though, if I could just get a green with a little bit of, with like a little puddle on it or like a little water hazard in the middle, I'd be on that green all fucking day.
Yeah.
You better imagine there's some little water hazards on the green.
It's like the meme of like finding water on Mars.
Yeah,
can you find water on Mars? It's like, hang on, you grab a golf club.
That's hilarious.
Too good. So what do you have like planned for the future? Like, I know you said you wanted to try and chase something a little more before you feel like it's time to hang up that hat. And honestly, and maybe this is just my opinion, but I think now is probably one of the better times in recent years than ever with all the booming, like, internet, YouTube popularity with golf. And COVID, as much as it was a detriment to a lot of things, it really bolstered the golf community and like golf presence around the world.
For sure. Oh, without a doubt. And I think that's the only. COVID's the reason why I got to do this. I don't even know that the indoor studio and stuff like that even becomes an opportunity. So,
right.
But like with playing and stuff, it's definitely still like. I got a flame that's forever going to burn, and that's the cool part about golf is there's no time frame on it. Right. I don't get to play.
You do senior tours and stuff, yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so that's stay healthy and stay upright and stuff like that. God willing, then we'll do that at some point. But the cool part is, I think I can kind of just go with the punches. If I get the time to be able to do it, then I'm going to do it full bore. I'll never travel again and leave. I was leaving for 3 to 6 months at a time. I won't do that without my family. But that's the cool part is there's enough locally that I don't have to leave for months at a time, and I can still kind of chase it. Because for me, it's all about just filling my burn, man. Like I itch for the chase, the competitiveness, there's not a money game or a skins game. There's nothing that I can replicate tournament play for myself. I can't.
Right.
I just there's not enough money that we can bet that will even produce that. Like it's just different. It demands so much out of the player to perform at the high levels and be successful that's something that I itch for. And so if I can get 6 tournaments a year, 10 tournaments a year, I'd be the happiest man alive just being able to play like once a month. So that would be kind of like my big goal is to kind of get to where I can play 1 tournament a month. But realistically, like I said, man, this teaching stuff is really starting to grow on me, and we got some stuff in the works where I believe we're going to be able to expand next year into a place with 3 simulators and a little bigger and have a little more opportunity for me to do more with teaching too, bring in groups and clinics and classes. I used to be a part of a thing called Day on the Green where they bring in a bus full of kids with different disabilities and stuff. And I can't do that here, but with a bigger facility, I'll be able to kind of give back in ways that I think is really needed nowadays, especially where we're at. We don't have anything here in Solano County, man. We don't have anything here in Vacaville to do. I grew up going to a place called the Woos back in the day, and batting cages and stuff like that. And we just don't have anything that's like for all ages of kids, let alone young adults. I mean, we got a movie theater in Vacaville, man. That's it. So hopefully, what we got kind of coming next year, if we can get all the ducks lined up, then I think we got something that will really help the golf community, but also help the local community in a lot of areas too.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome.
Thanks, man.
And also with you wanting to give back, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. So there's a program that I went through. Have you ever heard of PGA Hope?
Oh yeah, for sure. I hope. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if that's something you've ever messed with or whatever, but I got to go get some free lessons for a few weeks with a PGA coach out here, and like that was great. I mean, also it was awesome for me just to get out, socialize, meet some other people that at least had something in common with me, and being new to the area, it was a really good I guess icebreaker,
Yeah, makes total sense, man. That's dope. Yeah, I know the guys that do it. My really good friend Jesse Walker used to run the program out of Cypress Lakes before he moved.
Okay.
Kind of Jersey area back to the East Coast. But yeah, the whole program's been awesome, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know like how all that works, but yeah, I like as far as like getting into it or whatever, but it's definitely, it was a really, really cool experience. So
that's what's up.
Do you think do they ever have opportunities like, I mean, being a pro and then also doing lessons and stuff, like would you ever have the opportunity to like maybe not participate in a tournament, but like get to go and like put on clinics there or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's so I go to like some scrambles and stuff, probably to about 6 tournaments a year, and set up on like a par 3 or a par 5 and either hit drives or hit shots into the par 3. For my high school one that I went to last year, I did like a clinic beforehand and just did like a little hitting seminar. I think that's all just that's again, I think that's, I don't know if you reach out to people on that, but I think that's a relationship thing. I think that's just me being in front of the right people at the right time and making the connection, or somebody talking about, hey, you should have this guy come out and do something for your tournament or things like that. Like that's definitely something that I don't know a lot of that's available, but I try and do it for just like the local stuff. I go out to Yocha and do about 4 tournaments there a year. And then my Vaca High is where I went to high school. So I try and do their wrestling tournament every year and stuff like that. But I try to, for sure.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh, so you're the celebrity guest shot guy.
Try to, yeah. Buy the swing from me, buy the ball.
Oh, you charge for the swing. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Ain't free. Ain't a free day.
Gun,
baby. I'm a hired gun.
That's fair. That's fair. I guess, it was a charity event at the Hope thing, so they weren't charging us for those shots because it was like charity for us, I guess you would say. That's awesome, man.
Thanks.
Oh no, Eric, you're muted. Something happened to your microphone.
Oh, I was saying, like, there's got to be a lot of pressure to hit a good shot if it's paid for,
yeah. That's it. Like that small thing right there. Like magnify that times 1 billion, and that's what tournament golf is for me. Like,
right.
And the cool part is it doesn't take anybody else there. It's me with my own battles. It's me with my own demons that I have to conquer that day and get over. And that's the days that you can. My proudest days are when I can still put up a good number, struggling, being in a bad place mentally, but still being able to lock in for 10 seconds just to hit the shot good, and then still put up a respectable number, a couple under par, even par, with having the F game. I'm more proud of those days than my A days. Like, shooting a low score is great. That means I did a lot really well that day. But if I can shoot a pretty good score when I don't have my cards and I'm, in a dark place or not doing that, those are the days that I really kind of hang my hat on, to be honest. Those are the character building days, I think.
Okay, yeah, what's for sure. Most memorable time on the tour? Memorable moment.
It doesn't even have to be. I would. Let's do it this way. Most memorable moment on the tour, or like at tour events, like whether it was golf related or not, and then the most memorable like golf related, like during the tournament on the course kind of thing. Because there's got to be some crazy shit that goes down outside of the course.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like I was just
Whatever's not going to get you in trouble, too. You know.
all some the summer of 2019. I'll put him on blast. Aaron Beverly and I traveled pretty much from Victoria, BC, all the way to Nova Scotia. So all 13 provinces, pretty much the whole country. And I literally had to have like a Top Gun, like Wingman of the Year T-shirt that summer because every stop that we had, dude, he would pull 2 or 3 chicks every week, once a week, whatever. Even a chick followed us all the way from Vancouver back to back to Victoria, took a ferry and everything like that. Like the the after nightlife of that summer was absolutely epic, especially. I got nothing. I got nothing out of it. Like I'm married happily to my wife 10 years. But the nightlife is really cool, especially like up there. Like they kind of, if they knew that you were like in the area of the local tournament and found out that you were one of the players, they didn't like treat us like celebrities or anything. But you got just a little extra love. Like it was pretty cool up there. And then on the golf course, most memorable. That's tough.
Your man off the golf course was living like the Canadian Ludacris. He's got hoes in different area codes.
What was straight up, and I'll put them on blast. This ain't no secret.
Saskatchewan today, huh?
Saskatchewan.
I will say this on the flip side, like the dopest part about that summer though was probably the outside of the tournaments. Like Kelowna, BC is somewhere that I would visit regularly. Like it's a different walk of life up there, like in Canada. They're just a little slower pace or a little more, kind of in tune with life and not about this go instant gratification that we're, kind of dealing with today. It's just a different cut.
I remember Italy being like that.
But I bet, right? And to me, that's being able to go through a whole different country and stuff like that. I've been through a lot of parts of Mexico too, and then I've been to 36 states with this game, so I've chalked off 36 of the 50 states that or whatever. And that's probably the best part for me was that I got to travel, doing something that I love, and I didn't appreciate the travel as much younger because I was it's only golf. But now I get to go to Monterey a couple times a year for tournaments, and those are like I cherish those weekends, especially now being able to take my kids down there and stuff. And golf's just opened up countless opportunities for me in my life, and the relationships I have. I've got 25-year relationships that run so strong as my, my blood family and stuff. And that's kind of the best part about golf is that for me, it's just been a full circle of life. And it's very, it's my reset. If I'm having bad days or I have a bad week or something like that, let me go onto a golf course for a day and I'll come back a different person. And so
nice.
Tournament though wise, I would say, my first hole-in-one in competition is something that I'll always remember. I was 16. I was playing at Rancho Solano in a Pepsi Tour event as an amateur, and I made a hole-in-one on number 12, par 3, the hardest par 3 there. I hit 3-wood.
Damn.
Hole-in-one. I shot 66, and it was my first win as an amateur, and let alone in a professional event. And that's something that I still got the golf ball. Like that's one of the few pieces that I've kept because that's pretty iconic for me in my game. And then 2019 actually was my best summer in that tournament in Toronto, finishing tied for 6th, being put up against the ropes and being to where, I don't play after this week if I don't at least make the cut. And then to go shoot 18 under and finish tied for 6th, to not just make the cut, but, make a pretty big jump was nice. Really, really, we'll remember for sure.
That's
sick. How about like funniest moment or like most like awkward moment on the course or something?
One of what happened in like 2018, man, I had flown up to Kelowna to do the Monday qualifier for the event up there because I didn't get to do Q school that year. And we're on the second hole. It's a par 3. It's about 178. Pull out a little downhill, pull out 8-iron and full shankopotamus, dead right. I mean, huge. And I'm sitting here. I can't remember the last time before that, but I remember like hitting this ball, turning ghost, and looking at my competitors, and their faces looking at me like, "What is wrong with you, dude?" Like I literally shocked.
They're like, "What? What did you just shit your pants? What happened?"
Like that, like, what, dude? Like you hit a bad shot. Okay, I just remember vividly being like, can't believe that just happened.
Hey, Tiger did that this year, though. It's not insane to think about. Like Tiger just did one this year.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, it doesn't. It happens to every single player. No one's immune to it. No one.
Except for Scotty, it was like, oh, I shanked it 20 yards off you,
Dude,
Jack.
Scotty
No, I'm
Shanks
kidding.
bunker shots, man. Like
I've seen it.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I've seen it. I saw him duff the drive into like some crazy reads, like nowhere.
Oh, for
like
sure.
went nowhere.
Bad swings, dude. Get into a little bit of a bad mental space, bro. It's not going to be pretty.
Man, him and Rory really beat up on Bryson and Brooks, though. That was,
bro. And that's you can't have 4 dudes who are dry as boards on television, though. Like
Right.
no one has that. The best thing for those shows is doing the one celebrity athlete and the one PGA Tour player. Like
yeah, that's true.
Being a celebrity or another athlete of another sport, like those are entertaining ones at least, because no one wants to see Brooks Koepka sour and upset. No one wants to see Bryson. Rory's not, and I'm sorry, dude, but Scotty is the most cookie cutter golfer that we could possibly have as number 1 in the world.
Can I also say, like, I love his golf game. He's obviously a phenomenal golfer. 2 things, actually. I don't know how he hasn't earned the nickname yet, and maybe I'm just oblivious to it, but how is he not Scotty Shuffler instead of Scheffler with that foot action? And then also, like, yeah, dude, he's the Scotty Shuffler. And then the other thing is, does he not just have one of the most punchable faces?
Bro.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, he's a great golfer, but he just has that typical like country club yuppie. Like, I just like something tells me I want to punch you.
I want to score it one time.
Yeah, just it's like that moment in Step Brothers. Like, you just have a very punchable face. I just want to punch you right in the mouth.
Not a lot going on with that dude, man. It's plain hat, plain shirt, khakis, and some shoes.
Fall asleep.
Now, apparently, he likes to drag cops, though. Then you got a little frayed pants, and it was like a crisis.
No, but going into what you're saying with the boring, like that's got to be why they have Charles there, right? And Charles there and drinking.
What's different? What's the difference between your balls? What's different about your balls?
What's y'all balls?
Dude, Barkley has the best ones. Like, them days coming, and Shaq's just like. Can't take Shaq anywhere with Charles.
Sure can. That's hilarious.
Oh my god, I love that stuff. Yeah,
I like how he's
definitely...
commented on Rory's drink. Was it? He's like, that's got to be alcoholic, or whatever Rory was drinking.
What he was walking around with. I've been.
It's
So
like
I got told at Green Tree when I was a kid, a long time ago, like 13 years old, by a bunch of the old dudes there. Golfers are drug addicts or alcoholics or both. And if you're not now, play long enough and it'll make you be.
I can see
the
that.
amount of people I see. It's true. Yeah, the whole 5 o'clock somewhere thing definitely applies on a golf course.
It's the most abusive relationship you'll ever have.
It is very true. That is so true. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, actually, like, to some extent, what people can put back and still perform.
Yeah, it's fact.
Liquid like cheese.
Freeze you up, swing lube. They call it that for a reason, man.
I will say that did happen to me once. I had one of those moments where I was playing with my nephew. He came to visit me. We went out. We just took some fireball shots, and then they were like, "Hey, it's your turn to tee off." I was like, "All right, cool." And as I go to stand up, it's like at that moment, like for some reason, everything hit me. I got hit with that wave where like my body just suddenly decided to like sweat a little bit, and I was like leaning on the cart, like, hold on, guys, one second. And I like got enough to muster myself up, and I probably hit like the best drive I had hit all day. And my nephew's like, shot. And I'm like, do not. It was interesting. That probably was like the one good shot, and then I think it was a little downhill from there. But yeah, I found the peak, and then I tumbled over the edge.
The tipping point.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. It happens when we play Call of Duty and stuff too. Like I'll find a sweet spot where I'm like suddenly performing, and then after that I'm like I can't tell which one of these two guys that I'm supposed to shoot at because there's one, but one of them's real. I don't know which one. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot at that one. It's always the wrong one. You're muted again.
I'll say that game is damn near as punishing as Call of Duty, or I mean, golf is. You know, like
It can be, yeah. Well, but you know, golf doesn't offer you a game shark. You can't get walls in golf. There's no auto aim.
I mean, Vaseline.
That's the thing. Or you could get those. They've got that handicap driver that just uses like a little.
Pin.
No, well, yeah, but it's like it uses one of those compressed air cartridges and just has like a little thing in the middle that just you line it up and you hit the button. I think I saw Rick Shields using one of those.
Like
it is interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, I don't want to take up a ton of your time, bud. So I don't know if Eric's got any more things that he wants to pull out of you.
Pause.
How
about the what was your favorite course that you got to play?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And maybe the why too.
Man, it's hard. Like, are we talking like that I've ever played?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, this is like picking a favorite movie or a favorite song. It's so hard.
It has to be out of Vacaville, though.
Yeah, no, it's out of Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach is hard to beat, man. I've been spoiled and been able to play Pebble a handful of times. I was actually just out there this past Friday. Got to play Pebble this last Friday.
Oh, okay.
That's a hard.
Must be nice.
It was actually. Thank you.
It was.
But like, man, Olympic Club is pretty amazing. I'll just name off some few. Like Olympic Club and Lake Merced in our area are pretty amazing golf courses. Yocha to me is as good as any private club that I've played. I think Yocha's fantastic. But like up in Canada, there was a place called Sirocco. Sirocco is outside. It's funny that you said earlier, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan area.
Yeah,
it was a little outside of that, and that place was pretty amazing. You know, Wolf Creek is up there. Wolf Creek's pretty dope.
Oh, man, it's beautiful.
It's pretty amazing, dude, and how they built that place is pretty dope. Bandon Dunes.
Where?
Bandon Dunes. If you haven't done a Bandon Dunes trip, dude, that's. I mean, if you're a golfer, it's a golf mecca. Actually, most recent probably Paynes Valley. I got to play Paynes Valley a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, another friend of ours got to play there too.
It's dope.
Over in Branson.
Heck yeah. So let me ask you this then, since you've played obviously pro events and on pro courses and whatnot. I just saw a video recently that Bryson released. You know, funny we were just talking about them, but he was actually talking about how he went and played like a local Muni course, and he's like, dude, the conditions you guys play in are like night and day for us. He's like, you average golfers coming out here to play on a Muni are playing in like ridiculously harder conditions than what they like make everything freshly manicured for us for a tour is like.
Dude, if those dudes had to play on Muni courses, they wouldn't play. They're prima donnas, bro. I'm not kidding. They are prima.
It makes me wonder, like, how would they score? Like, would they be able to score as well, or is it just?
There's too many imperfections.
He said a lot of different things, but I think it's putting is like got to be the biggest variable.
So a Muni golf course brings a lot more luck into play. It brings bounces into play. These dudes, and that's where like someone that gets afraid of fast greens, that's insanity to me. Faster greens mean that I get to make a smaller range of motion, which means there's less room for error. Means I don't have to hit it nearly as hard. Faster greens are also going to mean that the greens are more true and pure. So from that standpoint, my ball's not going to bounce offline as much. So if I'm hitting my line with my speed, and that's where talent truly shines more. And that's why a guy can go on a run like Scotty Scheffler. He's that talented. Tiger is that talented. Brooks Koepka during his runs is that talented. Jordan Spieth is that talented that it will shine through in their conditions. Part of the golf ball and watching golf balls spin so much on TV is course conditions that allow that to happen.
Mhm.
It's not just them doing it. Yes, are they talented enough to change the spin rates? Yes, but it's more conditions that allow these things to happen. They don't hit the golf ball 360 yards, dude. They hit it 300 and it rolls 60 yards.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever had that happen at Cypress Lakes or Paradise Valley or Rancho Solano or any, maybe once a year?
Yeah, you might get 20, 30-yard rollout.
Don't. Like
Yeah.
the conditions, they're playing in top tier conditions. And that's
Right.
where you say now in the conversation of like, how do you make it, you know, make the golf courses longer? No, shorten the fairways and make them less perfect. Make the greens less perfect. Make more chance and luck come into play then. But you're not going to do that because why? Those dudes don't want that.
Right.
Talent then gets thrown out the window when you bring that in. So yes, would these dudes still tear up every muni? Of course, because they're still going to drive it better and hit it closer than the average person. So they're still going to have way more opportunities to make birdies, but they're not going to make as many birdies on a muni course as they're going to make on a pure manicured golf course. Period.
Right.
Period.
No, that makes perfect sense. And maybe that's what they need to do to change the game is just stop manicuring golf courses and make them play like the rest of us.
But I
fuckers.
would say, well, honestly, look, honestly, you shorten the fairways, stop making them roll as fast as greens. You make the rough thicker and you make the greens firmer. You make it to where they can't hold the greens. You don't have to change equipment for this. If they roll this ball back, if they roll the ball back, the only people that benefit from this are your faster speeds. So now you give a bigger advantage to a guy that can move it faster physically than the guy who needs today's technology to help him move it. Zach Johnson will never be able to compete again. Kevin Kisner will fall even further back because they don't have the physical abilities of these dudes that bring 130 mile an hour club head speed. A golf ball is not going to solve that.
Right.
Rolling back the golf ball, rolling back equipment is not going to solve that. You just give the physical dude the bigger advantage. So you take the golf courses, making them longer isn't going to do it. You make the conditions tougher, but why don't you do that? Because nobody wants to see guys make pars and bogeys. As a viewer, you don't want to see somebody struggle. Is it the best thing for golf as a viewer? Yes, because then it brings you back to reality that these dudes aren't some gods of the game. They hit bad shots just like we do. But
Right.
your viewer and TVs don't want to show somebody struggling. So you're not, that's where it's always going to be this vicious, like TV ratings are going to supersede anything that the game truly needs. Money's going to rule that. You're finding that in basketball. You're finding that in football. You're finding that in any sport where the TV ratings are really the driver of what the sport's going to do.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we've learned and not it kind of, in my opinion anyway, came even more to the forefront during times like COVID and whatnot. But we've definitely learned that revenue supersedes reality.
For sure, I agree with that. I agree with that. And so I don't know. I don't know how you really even address it. And at the end of the day, if these guys are going out and shooting 20 under to win a tournament, then athletes are getting that good at golf, and you have
Right.
athletes now picking golf. And now our understanding of how to make the body move more efficiently, not swing a golf club, how to make movements more efficient with the body, that we should be getting better at it. So I don't know, man. I just think it's a tough place to be.
It makes me curious, like, obviously we have no way of testing it, but like how interesting would it be to see like what the results would be on, say, like, I don't know, what would we say? Maybe like Rory is probably up there as like one of the more accurate strikers right now.
Sure.
So let's say we had Rory having to go back and hit like Persimmons, woods, and drivers and whatnot, but then we got Ben Hogan to use like 2023, 2024 tech. And like, I wonder what the difference would be like, because Hogan had to be pure.
Yep.
And the tech
I hate to say
allows
it,
for
I
a
think
little more
Rory would
leeway
shit on-
there.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it would be the case. But I think that would even make the game harder, is like stop allowing technology to do 90% of the work for the players.
Totally. And I don't know if you need to roll it all the way back to like Persimmons, but
Well, yeah, I mean, that's extreme maybe, but
cool. But maybe you go back to a 300cc head then, a maximum size head on a driver, right? Because that's more demanding now, and the mishits aren't as forgiving of that, right? And
right, yeah, you got a lot less real estate to work with.
and here's the cold part that a lot of people don't think about with that though. Now you're telling these companies like Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, and all your main brands that they now have to make two different lines of equipment. You have to make pro equipment, then you have to make your everyday consumer equipment. They're not going to do that. They're not going to spend money on doing that. And that's why I think that equipment change, I don't know if that'll ever happen because of the cost that it's going to come at the other companies having to do this. And now you cause a bigger divide between, you see equipment doing the change now because it's making the consumer feel like they're hitting the ball closer to what the PGA Tour guys are. But the harsh reality is all you've done is just change the number on the bottom of the club. Instead of it saying 8-iron, now it says pitching wedge on it. Mm-hmm. Instead of it saying 7-iron, now it says 5-iron on it. Or right. Like that's all they've done. Lofts have just gotten stronger, and that makes your consumer. It makes your consumer feel like, hey, you know, I'm hitting it closer to them. You can't lose that. You can't create more separation, right? Because now you're going to lose that interest or the viewership of it. It's a vicious place to be in, I think.
The most irritating thing to me was figuring out, because like I totally hear what you're saying, and from a business perspective, you're absolutely right. Like, why would they make that decision? But what irks me is knowing that they damn well have enough money and means to do it. Because I won't go into details, but let's just say I ended up getting very lucky with my purchasing of a new set of clubs. And when you find out that if you know the right people or have the right connections, you're still paying over cost. Like, they're still making a profit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And even while still making a profit, you're paying like less than a third of what the normal retail price would be. It's like, dude, the markup is ridiculous.
It's astronomical. $1,000 drivers are a normal thing.
And it's like that $1,000 driver probably literally cost them all of like, you know, $110 in material to make, maybe.
Yeah, was it $600 head, $400 shaft?
Because they're buying. Well, they're buying in bulk, so obviously that makes sense why they're getting things cheaper or whatever. But still, it's just like to know that. It's just insane. So, but you're right. Yeah, why would they do that? But but some companies still have clubs that are, you know, not USGA approved, but they sell them for the weekend.
Those aren't your big brand companies. Those aren't
true.
Those are your knockoff companies that are trying to, you know, sell gimmicky stuff, right? And that's, I don't know, man. Like equipment, it has to evolve because that's just our nature, right? That's just human nature. I mean,
we innovate. We can't leave it just as it is.
Cars come out every year. Why do we need to have new cars come out every year? Like, it's not changing that much to come out year to year. But golf companies used to do it like every other year. They come out with irons one year, then they come out with woods the next year. That's a great timeline, in my opinion. But
I would say that makes more sense.
But now companies have just flooded the market and see, we still sell, we still make money doing it this way. So let's just come out with a driver every year now. Let's come out with different models of a driver, and we can cater to every style of golfer now. I mean,
that's why I love, and not to even say that they are better than any other company, but I really like PXG's logic. Because the way that at least the way it's been explained to me, how they think about it is like, we're not going to release anything until it is literally better than the previous generation. So I don't need every single February or March a line of product to come out. It comes out when it's better than the previous generation. Yeah. And like you could argue, like, is it better, you know, yada yada, but like I think that's pretty cool logic.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it makes perfect sense. Like it's kind of like the whole. I mean, dude, that's the reason why I switched from iPhone to Android. I was like, I'm really getting sick of paying for a new iPhone like every year or every other year, and it's the same damn thing wrapped in a slightly different package.
Shit, I was like, Android's been doing this, dude.
All this other, dude. That's what I'm saying. But like, it does all the same shit. And real quick, I'm gonna hop on my soapbox for a second. It also pisses me off that Apple does the bullshit they do with the RCS chat stuff. Like, there's no reason for messages to show up green or whatever from Android and make it a problem to send like grainy video, grainy pictures. It's literally Apple is refusing to implement the technology. And the reason why I really hate it is because they know that it's fucking with little kids' heads, like the kids at school. Like, oh, your messages are green. You're not a cool kid. And it's like giving these little kids complexes, and Apple's just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. We'll just keep selling iPhones.
That's so true, dude. I hate, dude, the grainy thing used to piss me off so much. It's like,
but there's no reason for it. That's my point.
You
It's
just
like
recorded in 4K and fucking got some grainy ass.
Yeah, like I guess there's like So there's like SMS and MMS, which I don't know if it's like simple media and then multimedia, or I don't know what it stood for, but that's what it used to be. And then they got to RCH, which is like rich chat service or rich text service or something. And it's accessible to like everybody. And it was just Apple was like refusing to implement it and was just using their own little proprietary messaging bullshit. And that's why they were having, that's why it was like, that's why they have those funny ass commercials out now with like an Android phone and an iPhone. It's like, we need to work on our communication, and they're in like a psychologist office or some shit. It's like, so
I had Androids for quite a while. We were on the Pixel phone for quite a while, and when I started teaching, what do people have though? An iPhone. Mm-hmm. All my family has an iPhone, and it's like, man, I got forced back into it, and I've just been ever since I got back into it. I'm like, dude, this is the same phone that I had from the 5th generation. Hey, nothing changed.
Don't get me wrong. I love the simplicity. I like the iOS operating system, all that stuff. But I'm just like, why did I just, why am I spending $1,200 for like the same thing? But like, you're just telling me it's got a new chip in it.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh. I'm glad I got some reassurance there, boys.
Yeah.
I'm not just the crazy guy.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is that, like, I go the generations as long as I can without having to upgrade to the next one. But you get to a point to where they're like, we are not going to support that one anymore. And
yeah,
it's like
planned obsolescence, bro.
Yeah. So it's like, we're not going to push any updates to that.
Yeah, they won't push updates like, really? And stuff. Yep.
I think I'm getting pretty damn close right now.
Imagine a golf company did that. You're like, hey, I want to get the new heads you have on this shaft. They're like, oh, we don't support that shaft anymore. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. That'd be wild. Yeah, they changed like the tip. Yeah.
Yep.
They do that though.
Everyone's got to have a different tip adapter.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Oh,
hey, golf talk. No, we already know golf talk.
Dude, if I get a new tip adapter, I might be able to get inside of you on the next shot, Like
pause.
Pause.
I'm gonna ram this tip adapter right into that muzzle. And then I'm gonna smash my head into this ball. And it's going deep in the hole. Oh, I love it. Well, I mean, I guess that might be a good laugh note to end it on. But before we let you go, Elliott, I do want to make sure that you get a chance to like shout out your business, where people can find you, if you've got social media stuff, website, whatever, like, feel free to sell yourself, bro.
Paylormade Golf Academy, located 300 Main Street, downtown Vacaville. Website is www.paylormadegolfacademy.com. You can find all my information there. I'm open by appointment Monday through Saturday. Saturday I usually only work 8 hours, and then I shut it down kind of noon. Don't work Sundays. Keep that for the family. But yeah, man, fully flexible. Reach out to me via text, email, whatever's easiest for you. But available as early as late as needed, and really looking forward to kind of seeing what we can grow next year.
Hell yeah, man. And that's Paylormade, just like TaylorMade, but with a P, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Well, I see the hat.
Just to add to that, if you are in the Bay Area and you need any advice, lessons, golf, anything related to it, please check him out. He knows what he's doing, and he has just talked about that for hours. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if him having all these like stories and being able to tell the tales of a professional golf time, then if that doesn't let you take him seriously, I don't know what will. So
I've done all I can.
Yeah. He's smarter than he looks, folks. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's been great, man. It has been an absolute pleasure. I'm really thankful.
Thank you guys for just even the opportunity to talk some stuff with you, and really appreciate your time listening to me, Patrick.
Thanks for being here, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, if we want, we can send it off with another shot. That's totally up to you guys. I know for sure the next time I'm on the course, I'll be getting some shanks, so there's no problem there with
You're
that.
You're doing that because
show.
I have Bombay, aren't you?
I honestly forgot.
I support that.
All right, because Elliott
I
said so.
legitimately didn't even think of that. I 100% Bombay was not even in my mind.
That's good.
That's so good.
If Elliott didn't back that, it wouldn't be. But
It's awesome.
Dude, I hope our Bombay buddy sees this.
Bumblebee tuna.
We're gonna have to make sure we send it to you. That one would be. Dude. Oh, that's a good one. We'll have to tell that story sometime about the Call of Duty Bumblebee tuna fiascos.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
It's not as gross as you might think. There wasn't actual tuna involved. Thankfully. Imagine it's just like, I forgot about this can of Bumblebee tuna at the bottom of my trash, and it's just the whole room fucking reeks. Playing Call of Duty and a fish's twat right now.
I've heard of some crazy office pranks where people will like go into those, like, you know, the panels you can push up in the ceiling and like put a can of tuna up there. Like, yeah.
I'll put like sardines in the heater.
That's dirty.
Yeah.
This is. I forgot this is spicy. This isn't fun for me either, bro.
Oh yeah.
You're the only one. You're over here sipping on some fancy shit.
Again, guys.
Right, cheers, fellas. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers to the viewers.
Much love.
Oh,
that stuff sucks.
Muy caliente.
So.
Oh God.
Like, what do they make this out of?
It's why did I put so much chili in this?
It's made out of pine trees. That's what gin is.
No, it's made out of juniper berries.
Like pine trees.
I don't know why I have to say juniper berries like that every time.
Into dog shit is what.
I got fell into dog shit.
Can't really argue that analogy.
Oh my God! How would you know? You've been sucking on shitty pine cones. What? Yeah, I pack them in my lip like a dip. I got an upper decker right now.
Oh, dude, so
I like the gritty crunch.
Since you're from the area, I used to go to Tahoe when I was a kid, but people don't realize that the giant ass pine cones actually have nuts you can eat out of them.
Is that what pine nuts are?
Yes.
I don't know. You know what? On that note, we'll research this. We'll find out if that's what pine nuts are. Just next time on Shots N Shanks. Find out about pine nuts. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Much love. Tune in next time. And thanks again, Elliott.
Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.